Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all to day 3 of our international conference on contemporary researchers in engineering, science, management, and arts, ICCRESMA 2022, created and powered by Center for Research and Training, National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. I would now like to introduce our conference co-convener, Associate Professor Esther Vimala. Associate Professor Esther Vimala possesses more than 3 decades of academic experience. At the light of her interest in environmental economics, she has completed 2 UGC minor research projects in industrial waste management in Thoothukudi Industries and biomedical waste management in Thoothukudi hospitals. She has been a member of the organizing committee and has organized various UGC sponsored projects, national and international seminars, conferences, and workshops. As convener, she has organized national and international seminars and webinars and international web conference. She has also strived hard for 15 years as an associate NCC officer in the lieutenant rank to forge the best possible citizens for the nation. She has rendered a remarkable administrative service as Dean of Arts and Dean of UGC Affairs for the development of the institution. In recognizing her indomitable academic services, she has been bestowed with the prestigious Lifetime Achievement Award by National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development, Coimbatore, in its 7th National Women's Day Awards 2020 for her exemplary research and academic contributions to economics and women's studies. She is currently serving as the Associate Professor and Head of the Department of Economics, School of Management and Economics at St. Mary's College, Thoothukudi, Tamil Nadu. I now invite our distinguished conference co-convener, Associate Professor Esther Vimla, to deliver the welcome note.
Thank you, ma'am. A very good morning to each one of you present here. As one of the co-conveners, it gives me immense pleasure to deliver the welcome. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible. Continue, please.
To deliver the welcome address on behalf of the Center for Research and Training, a growth action unit under National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, on this prestigious occasion, the third day of this international conference on contemporary researchers in engineering, science, management, and arts, which is very much needed in the current scenario for understanding the new vistas in contemporary research contributions towards holistic global restructuring. The human mind has always been known for its never-ending pursuits for development. It has always wandered in search of new and possibly more sophisticated ways of getting things done. As academic success depends on research and publications, this conference in itself is an example of what once could have been a future trend, allowing hundreds to digitally gather amidst the raging pandemic. I would now like to welcome a person who delivers more than expected, a man who always chases visions, KVJ Professor Dr. R. Ganesan, founder and chairman NFED Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, who is also the conference chair and chief patron of today's conference, has only one thing in his mind: quality is job one. If our actions create a legacy that inspires others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, then he is an excellent leader. Our chief patron and NFED's chairman actions as an excellent leader not only inspires others to learn more, but also push them to become more vibrant and dynamic in terms of knowledge and skills. Welcome, sir. What we need today are more people who specialize in the impossible. I'd like to welcome such a person, our conference director, Mrs. Ramya Kandavel, Executive Chairman and Director of NFED, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. Even one person who proves of genuine support is a blessing. Amidst the challenges and trials, she is someone who stands by and provides immaculate support throughout it. She is a woman who defines her success on her own terms, achieves it by her own rules, and builds a life she is proud to live. She is tough and ambitious woman who knows exactly what she wants. Welcome, ma'am. We need women and men who are so strong they can be gentle, so educated they can be humble, so fierce they can be compassionate, so passionate they can be rational, and so disciplined they can be free. In short, we need men and women like the ones here with us today. I would like to welcome conference convener Dr. P. Indra, Professor, Center for Research and Training and Dean, NFED, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. I would also like to extend my hearty welcome to all the co-conveners, organizing secretaries, and all the organizing committee members. Research is formalized curiosity, and interestingly, if we all knew what we were doing, it wouldn't be research. I feel immensely honored to welcome a bunch of people who have not just taken up such difficult jobs, but have also excelled in them. With no further delay, I would like to welcome the keynote speakers of the successful third day of the conference. Real men treat women with dignity and give them the respect they deserve. I'd like to welcome Dr. Nazrul Islam, Pro Vice Chancellor and Professor and Dean, Faculty of Business, Northern University, Dhaka, Bangladesh. Such a real gentleman. Welcome, sir. Really, when women are empowered, they immeasurably improve the lives of everyone around them, their families, their communities, and their countries. Here we have such empowered women for this day. Dr. S. Anushya, Senior Lecturer in History, Grade 1, and Head, Department of Social Sciences, Faculty of Arts and Culture, Southeastern University of Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka, followed by Ms. Mirli Tolkima, Founder and Managing Director, MT Energy Resources Limited, Australia, and Founder, STEM Queens, Uganda. Dr. Gunita Arun Chandok, Professor and Principal, Savita College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, Savita Institute of Medical and Technical Sciences, Chennai. Dr. Tatwam C. Palta Singh, Professor and Head, PG Department of Sociology, Sambalpur University, Odisha, and Dr. Aarti Chandani, Associate Professor, Symbiosis Institute of Management Studies, Symbiosis International, Pune, Maharashtra. It is indeed a pleasure to welcome these great women filled with knowledge and charm, and I am glad you all are a part of this conference. The versatility and secularism in embracing women at large and including dignitaries beyond creed and belief is what I witnessed today in this international conference, and truly it gives me immeasurable joy and elation. The credit goes to NFED for integrating all these great personalities under the ambit of this historical ICCRESMA 2022. It is indeed an honor to welcome all these respected individuals, paper presenters, and participants from different parts of the world. I hope this conference also provides a platform for understanding the research insights and acquiring knowledge it's meant to deliver to people around the globe. Lastly, I intend to mention that research is to see what everybody else has seen and to think what nobody else has thought. I hope this world continues to bear witness to a lot more meaningful and life-saving researches through knowledge sharing in realistic conferences like this international conference, which is quite unique and socialistic in nature. I once again welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Associate Professor Esther Vimla, for your warm welcome note. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Now it's my privilege to welcome our distinguished keynote speaker, Dr. Nazrul Islam. Dr. Nazrul Islam is a professor of management and international business. He has served as business school dean at various universities like East West University, State University of Bangladesh, Eastern University, Uttara University, and Canadian University of Bangladesh. He has published 62 research articles in international referee journals that were abstracted and indexed by Scopus, ABDC, EBSCO, ProQuest, ESJI, and Crossref. Professor Islam has also published 29 research papers in refereed journals and attended more than 20 international conferences held in India, Nepal, Maldives, Hong Kong, South Korea, Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, USA, and Australia. He serves as panel reviewer for accreditation and is an external adjudicator for PhD dissertations of various public and private universities of Malaysia, India, Nepal, and Bangladesh. Professor Islam has been honored with Bangladesh Education Leadership Award in 2017, Education Leadership Award in 2018 in the category of Best Professor in Business Administration by CMO Asia. He is currently serving as Pro Vice Chancellor and Professor and Dean at Faculty of Business, Northern University of Bangladesh, Dhaka, Bangladesh. I now invite our distinguished speaker, Professor Dr. Nazrul Islam, to deliver the keynote address.
Thank you very much. Distinguished chair of the second international conference on contemporary resources in engineering, science, management and arts, and honorable chief patron and founder and chairman of Center for Research and Training and National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development, India, Professor Dr. R. Ganesan, Executive Chairman and Director, NFED, Professor Ramaya Kandhaval, Conference Convener and Professor of NFED, Professor Dr. P. Indra, distinguished participants from different parts of the world, ladies and gentlemen, and colleagues, good morning to everyone. I am very much delighted to be here today and really excited to see a large number of professors and scholars in this fabulous international web conference who are from different parts of the world. Distinguished participants, it is a great honor for me to deliver a keynote speech at this very important conference on contemporary resources in engineering, science, management and arts, organized by Center for Research and Training, National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development, NFED, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, India. I wish to extend my deep appreciation to the ICCRESMA authority for inviting me to share my thoughts on the role of women entrepreneurship development for global socioeconomic prosperity. I thank and welcome the participants of this webinar who will share the knowledge and experience with their colleagues and ensure an outcome that is grounded in the concrete realities for sustainable development of women entrepreneurship for the socioeconomic prosperity of the world. Dear colleagues, entrepreneurship development and economic prosperity are interlinked in many phases. Entrepreneurship development boosts up economic growth by introducing innovative technologies, products and services. Through the increased competition from the entrepreneurs, the existing firms and businesses become more competitive. Entrepreneurs creates new jobs in the economy, helps in formation of capital, improve the per capita income, enhancement in living standards, economic independence, and backward and forward linkages. Therefore, the development of entrepreneurship is the key for the development process of any country of the world. Whatever be the form of economic and political setup of a country, entrepreneurship is indispensable for the economic prosperity and the development of a standard of living of the people. Dear participants, generally, women are known to be very strong and confident, resourceful and talented, creative and innovative. All these have made them to succeed despite daunting obstacles. Women entrepreneurs all over the world play important roles in the social, economic, and political life of a nation. Especially in the developing countries, women entrepreneurs play significant roles in creating jobs, producing wealth, reducing poverty, human development, education, health, and as a whole, development of a nation. Women entrepreneurs in both developed and developing nations stimulate economic activities of a country. Women entrepreneurship is considered as a force to enhance the productivity, develop capacity, and increase the size of the economy with the help of creativity and competitiveness in the world. Particularly, in the 21st century, economic leaders pay special attention to the capacity of entrepreneurship in relation with the special well-being and the economic development. Women can be considered as the fastest growing entrepreneurs in the world. It is acknowledged in research studies that the women entrepreneurship is an important indicator for the world development. Dear colleagues, in developed nations, we see there are many aspects donating to increase women entrepreneurship, such as self-fulfillment, creative skills, desire to independence, desire for wealth and power, and social status. On the other hand, in developing nations, studies show that there are most cases in which self-employed women are pushed by economic and social conditions, such as less income, poverty, widowing, high rate of unemployment, and divorce problems. So they start their own business for the fulfillment of their basic needs or to support their families. Although women entrepreneurs have great contributions in socio-economic development of a country, but their paths are not free from hurdles. Research shows that the women entrepreneurs face constraints in developing economies of the world. The success rate of women entrepreneurs is very low because of shortage of sufficient skills, relevant experience, training and education, and unfavorable national and international culture. As the women entrepreneurs are important contributors to the expansion of the global economy, especially in low-income and middle-income economies, it is emphasized that they should collaborate with government and financial institutions to overcome these constraints. It has also been urged to tackle such obstacles. It is crucial for women entrepreneurs to get recognized their identity, which will ultimately impact on the global economy. The Global Entrepreneurship Monitor 2007 report is the fourth series of the reports on entrepreneurship, which present an inclusive and up-to-date study on women role who occupied the world economy by entrepreneurial activities. Women are different from their male counterparts in many parameters. For example, they are more probable to share their achievements to others for both economic and non-economic gains. Women are important for sustainable development of a country because they are most likely to share their gains to health, education, and other resources with their family members and also with their communities. The study also shows globally the impact of women entrepreneurs in gaining recognition intensely as the number of female business owners continue to increase steadily as women entrepreneurs and are making positive impact on the global economy. Women entrepreneurs are major contributors to the economy as they are making differences in the socio-economic arena. They contribute numerous ideas and a great deal of energy and capital resources to their communities and create additional work for suppliers and other spin-off business linkages. Dear colleagues, encouragement and supply of resources is an important dimension of women entrepreneurship development. The proper utilization of manpower ensured the growth all over the world, but in the least developed countries, major portion of women workforce is either unused or unnoticed, which can be a barrier of the development. This barrier can be overcome with the encouragement and providing resources to women to set up their own independent businesses. Although women-owned businesses are the world's fastest growing businesses and have made significant contributions in the form of innovation, employment, and wealth generation, it is estimated that their total share in the development of economies is 40%. Despite the significant role played by women entrepreneurs, there is a dearth of research on this subject globally. Literature suggests that studies on women entrepreneurs comprise less than 10% of all research in the field. Interestingly, a larger percentage of these studies explored women entrepreneurship in the developed nations. Studies also show that the women in developed economies are most likely to be motivated to establish business by pull factors, whereas in developing economics, they are most likely to be inspired by push factors. Dear colleagues, cultural barrier is also a hurdle for the development of women entrepreneurship in the world. The study revealed that the women advance and accomplish significant achievements in establishing businesses, in leadership, and in political roles, but they had to face cultural barriers which hinder their achievements. Globalization of the world economy affect the women entrepreneurial activities by imposing certain restrictions on them, such as free traveling, little share in inheritance, and selected jobs or profession. These restrictions enhance the poverty level of women as compared to men in the world. Women can remove the disparity by actively participating in the social activities of their societies and can improve their skills in technology-related devices. Active use of social media through digital technology can also help women entrepreneurs to unlock their capabilities globally for the success of their businesses and help in development of the economy. Gender inequality is another issue associated to the development of women entrepreneurship in the world. The impression of gender inequality refers to that the men and women are not equal. This discrimination mostly affects the women entrepreneurs. Over the past 2 decades, women entrepreneurship evolution in the world is very inspiring, but still there is unequal contribution to the businesses originated by women, as this contribution is in the smallest cluster of businesses in the society. Study shows that approximately 80% of the women entrepreneurs have no workforces as compared to 75% of wholly privately maintained businesses in the United States of America. Female-owned businesses obtain actually less than 1% of venture capital investment dollars than almost 1% of the business originated by men. Women entrepreneurs have not the same prospects as compared to men for rights, education, expressive careers, political inspiration, and economic development. This inequality also exists in entrepreneurial activities of women-owned businesses in relation with men-owned businesses. Because of this disparity and inequality, women entrepreneurs could not fully contribute in the social and economic development of their respective domains. Dear participants, if we look at the roles of women entrepreneurs in the economy, we will see that the creation of jobs, wealth, and innovation is remarkable, both in developed and developing economies. According to Global Entrepreneurship Monitor 2004, women entrepreneurs create jobs, wealth, and innovation to their enterprises. Studies by development of micro and small enterprises indicated that women are now starting business at a faster rate, which enables them to make significant contributions to job creation and economic growth. Women employees enhance positive productivity in the workplace given the right employment conditions. A study also shows that the women make up to 40% of the world's workforce in production, agriculture, hospitality, and the service industry of the world. Dear participants, research studies established that many women entrepreneurs continue to increase steadily worldwide. And today, women in advanced market economies own more than 25% of all the businesses. Involvement in these entrepreneurial activities by women helps in the poverty reduction efforts. Women's activities, particularly in business, empower them as economically and enable them to contribute more and more over the development. The study shows that whether women are involved in a small-scale production activities in the informal or formal sectors, women entrepreneurial activities are not only a means for the economic development, but also have positive social impacts for the individual, family, and their social environment. Dear colleagues, in a nutshell, it can be said that women entrepreneurs can mark their contributions as a significant tool to the economic development, social development, and to the sustainable development of the world's future. This contribution is in terms of education, better health for societies, and in all other areas in where people are able to groom themselves. In fact, successful women entrepreneurs play a role model for the future entrepreneurs of the world. Though entrepreneurship forces creative destruction across markets and industries, but simultaneously, it also creates new products and business models for the development of the society. In this way, creative destruction is largely responsible for the dynamism of industries and long-run economic growth of any country. Dear audience, I hope that the discussions we made here this morning under the topic role of women entrepreneurship development for global socioeconomic prosperity will be useful for the participants to understand their valuable contributions in the global socioeconomic development. Thank you very much for listening to me and giving me a chance to talk on women entrepreneurship and development in this August gathering of scholars of the world. I hope that this conference will be a great success. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Nazrul Islam, for your thought-provoking address. Thank you for all the valuable insights you have provided about the women workforce and the women entrepreneurship. Thank you so much. And before continuing, I would like all the request all the keynote speakers to kindly switch on your video so that I can take a screenshot. So all the keynote speakers, so the conference conveners, co-conveners, kindly switch on your video. Dr. Aarti.
Dr. Tatvamasi.
Yeah, Dr. Tatvamasi, her video is not on. Dr. Sunita.
Sunita is there.
Yeah, Sunita is there. Esther Vimala madam, she's not here. Yes, and Dr. Tatvamasi.
Esther
Okay,
Vimala is there. Esther
no, she's not available. Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Just a moment.
Sunita is there. Sunita Reddy is there.
Ah, yes. Thank you. Now I request all the participants to kindly switch on your video so that we can take a group screenshot. All the participants along with the dignitaries. Yes, just a moment. Yes, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm now delighted to welcome our distinguished keynote speaker, Dr. S. Anuzia. Dr. Anuzia earned her doctorate in history from the University of Madras, Tamil Nadu. She possesses more than 25 years of experience in teaching and research. Her research interests include history, anthropology, culture, ethnology, gender studies, women empowerment, social work, sustainable development, entrepreneurship, etc. She has published more than 40 research papers to her credit and is a listed author in Google Scholar. She has delivered more than 70 sessions, special lectures, and guest lectures across the globe in the field of history, gender inequalities, histography, minorities, rehabilitation, women development, and culture. She has organized numerous workshops, seminars, and conferences for upbringing women, culture, and education. She has been external examiner for doctoral thesis for University of Madras, Annamalai University, Bharathidasan University, Bharathiar University, Tiruvallur University, and Periyar University in Tamil Nadu. She has been the keynote speaker and reviewer to many conferences and index journals in Sri Lanka and abroad. She is also serving as organizing committee member, executive committee member, and board member in many professional bodies, academic associations, and non-governmental organizations. She is currently serving as grade 1 senior lecturer in history and head of the Department of Social Sciences, Faculty of Arts and Culture, Southeastern University of Sri Lanka, Oluville, Sri Lanka. I now invite our distinguished speaker, Dr. S. Anuzia, to deliver the keynote address.
Very good morning to everybody. Respected Chairman and Conference Chair, Professor KVG Ganeshan, and the Conference Director, Mrs. Ramya Kandaval, the Professor who had delivered the welcome address, Professor Esther Vimala, and other distinguished personalities who are in the dais, the Professor who has delivered the keynote address at present. To everybody, I am really saluting and my great good morning to everybody. And this is a great opportunity for me to deliver a keynote address for the international conference on researches in engineering, science, management, and arts. This is the very important aspects in the international arena. So, regarding this matter, I would like to share the screen to deliver a keynote address with a special note on the values of contemporary research on arts and sciences. Would you be able to hear me, please?
We can hear you, madam, but we're not able to see the screen share.
Okay. Shall I go for talking?
Yeah, you can do it orally, ma'am, no problem.
Okay, that I put it in the documents.
Okay.
Actually, I wanted to. So, the importance of the values of contemporary research on arts and sciences, I would like to say in the first, the globalization in the contemporary era induced a number of research scholars in the field of arts and sciences to have a greater collaboration researchers. Subjects of arts and science, technology and humanities will foster great cultural and social understanding and flexibility and adaptability in students. There is a greater demand for the inclusion of social sciences and humanities to understand and addressing contemporary global challenges. This complete knowledge sharing through joint research and overall upbringing multidisciplinary socio-economic development of the society. It will enhance human dimension and achieve a greater challenge regarding the communities and societies. The arts and sciences will cultivate knowledge about human expression, behavior, and social life to understand the context of those challenges and crafting solutions to the challenging problems. The importance of contemporary researchers, why we should do. The arts and science subjects will develop multi-research methods with their purviews. The collaboration of arts and sciences will enhance creativity as well as intrinsic values to promote global research and cultivate humanistic research. Display a new global community to find solutions through interdisciplinary research. Arts and sciences traditions include developing skills of critical reason, writing, reading, and deduction, and improving a firm grounding in the theoretical and methodologies of the humanities and social sciences. The traditional knowledge of higher education passed from Socrates, Aristotle to the era of industrialization and to the modern era. These values include a commitment to rigorous questioning of principles and practices, intellectual integrity, continuity, responsibility, and diversity of perspectives in the pursuit of truth and social justice. The values of the interdisciplinary research. The specific expertise students should take up a leadership role in the future leadership endeavors. To find a new solution to the world's complex problems, we need qualified leaders who could collaborate and work with others effectively. Those who can adapt and absorb to changes quickly, think critically, and communicate effectively will thrive successfully. It will develop transferable skills to think and approach to find a good solution to the current problems in the research field. By broadening the research knowledge of arts and sciences will pave the way for social upliftment and global development. And nowadays, are the humanities subjects still relevant in the 21st century to find a solution for the current problems? The way for enriching research. Arts and science education is the acquisition, preservation, and transmission new ideas of knowledge. Arts and sciences broadens and enriches a student's intellectual and cultural background. It will revamp and strengthen a wide variety of learning and reset opportunities for the grade learning. This education prepares students a good citizens of tomorrow's democracy. It also introduces them to multiple cultural perspectives necessary for successful global citizenship. The pervasive economic liberalism and shrinking budget gets due to a deep and prolonged recession. The exigencies of humanities research for society is increasingly put into question even within the academics. Why should government finance research that does not generate computable and marketable results? It should have the real meaning of it. Act as a base for global knowledge sharing for research various sectors. These are the important aspects in the value. And the contemporary development in technology digitalization, mass media on our global culture raises questions regarding responsibility and ethics of research decisions in contemporary social sciences in a larger sense. These trends affect our valuation of human conditions. When we come to the conclusion, the subjects of arts and sciences will bring out the following ideas in collaboration. We could learn more at once. Critical thinking and problem solving skills could be developed when they are doing the collaborative works with the arts and sciences subjects. A strong mentorship when they are doing the collaborative research with the arts and science subject, they will have a good strong mind, and they could be able to come out with a real solution. Diversify interest and opportunities will get, the students will have more different type of research opportunities. New research findings will be there when they are doing collaboratively with the arts and sciences subjects. Then preparing for new jobs. After they come out with their qualifications, they could be able to find a good jobs with the arts and sciences collaborative subjects. When they are doing the collaborative work with the arts and sciences, they will get a good opportunity for a global jobs. This is the great international conference, and this is the great opportunity I have got to speak in front of the august body. I am highly proud of delivering this keynote address of the International Conference of Sciences and Arts and Management and Arts. So I am very much thankful to the NFED for giving me a great opportunity to deliver this keynote address. Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Anusi, for a delightful address. Thank you so much for joining us. I now express my warm welcome to our distinguished keynote speaker, Ms. Myril Tolikima. Ms. Myril is an award-winning entrepreneur, senior petroleum engineer, global energy consultant, women empowerment advocate and champion, speaker and author who has gained experience working across 4 continents, Africa, Europe, Asia, and Oceania. She carries out empowerment work globally with a particular focus on energy and resources, women, STEM, and entrepreneurship. She also contributes to several leadership, technical, and think tank groups around the world. Ms. Myril is the managing director of Perth-based consultancy MT Energy Resources and STEM Queens in Uganda and Australia. STEM Queens has for objective to empower at least 1 million women and girls by 2025. Recently, she was selected as Global Chair of Engineering at the eminent and prestigious G100 Club that is comprised of powerful and top 100 women leaders in the world. She is the founder and managing director of MT Energy Resources Limited, Australia, and founder of STEM Queens, Uganda. I now invite our distinguished speaker, Ms. Myril Tolikima, to deliver the keynote address. Just a moment, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much for the warm welcome, distinguished and honorable guest, fellow keynote speaker, special guest participant, ladies and gentlemen, and conference chair and chief patron, Prof. Dr. Ganasan, who invited me to be part of this conference. It is a real honor for me to participate at this year's International Conference on Contemporary Research in Engineering, Science, Management, Art, and Transformation. And I understand that this conference is created and powered by the Center for Research and Training and the National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development in India. And I thank them for creating such a beautiful platform where we can share our knowledge, especially the technical knowledge, and allow women to to be part of this effort. So today I want to talk about the role of STEM to support energy transition and create, economic sustainability. And that's something that is really important. We've seen that we are going through two things right now in the world. There's an industrial revolution going on, and there's also an energy transition going on. And that's where STEM is really a key tool to make sure that we close the gap between those two phenomena that is happening right now. But as you know, and as you can see, as you can experience, we are in the middle of what we call the fourth industrial revolution. It is, experts describe it as an era that builds and extends the impact of the digitization, and it is really changing our life. It is changing the way we do business. It is changing the way we communicate. It is changing the way we relate to people. So it's changing not only the society, but it's also changing the human aspect of how we come across and interact with each other. So it can actually be described as the advent of cyber physical system, and it involved the entire woman capabilities, and also it's, it linked us to machines. And you see it every day, even now, me speaking from, different countries, but still being able to communicate with you and to exchange knowledge through Zoom and through any digital platform. So while, we are really relying on technology in a lot of things, and it is the same now in the energy sector. I've been working in the energy sector for 25 years. And when I started 25 years ago, it was quite challenging, especially as a woman, being on site, following operation or doing operation with men. And so this challenge is actually getting remote now, with a lot of things being done thanks to the technology. So it's a good, technology is bringing a good empowerment tool to women. And it's good news because it's going to increase, the women participation in the sector. So even, one thing that is really noticeable is that STEM has actually opened up the energy sector. It used to be a very conservative industry where things were done the same way. But now, when we talk about, especially on the operational side, you don't have to be on site to get your operation done. It can be controlled from a room, a monitor from a room, and really you can take all the decision and get all the data using different methods, using different digital tools that are actually going to help you to get the data that you need and make the decision to on a project or on an operation, especially for safety. For safety, it's been really powerful to get STEM and to get all those tools, and get data management done instantaneously, and not have to wait and to risk sometime people's life to get an operation going. So it has been very empowering on that side. So first thing that I can say, when just to summarize, is that it has changed the operational aspect of the industry. It has changed also it has helped the gender divide, because we see now more women coming in, because it's not just about the physical side of things. Now they can actually have family, work from home, work remotely, and still participate in the industry. And it has also it does also help in addressing the climate change, because as you know, the energy sector is one of the biggest, polluting industry, with greenhouse emission being with greenhouse being emitted. But with the new technology, with the new tools that STEM allow to bring in at a cost-effective way, we can actually start to transition to a more cleaner energy and have, and create an environmental sustainable and economical sustainable as well world where we can, we create opportunity for everyone and opportunity for women specifically. So that's really the key message that I take from what's happening right now. STEM has really become a key enabler for environmental sustainability, women empowerment, and economic sustainability with cheaper technology. And also, when we look at what we're trying to accomplish with the Sustainable Goal Developments as well, energy with STEM is, with the help of STEM, is actually at the heart of, achieving many of the sustainable goals. It comes down to, first, you have the Sustainable Goal 7, which is about ensuring that we have access, everybody has access to affordable and reliable clean energy. And we know that in some countries, energy is not actually available to them from so with STEM, and we can actually have technology, we are going to allow those people who don't have access or who can't afford, energy, to expand, this access to them. And we see, for example, in some area, there's no access to electricity. With clean energy, new method, we can actually use the technology to create the access to technology. There's, you can improve things like, clean cooking, fuel for women particularly, and also, waste management. We waste a lot of things, but now there are technology. We utilize waste to generate energy and actually help with, reducing the pollution as well. So a lot of opportunities for, as far as energy is concerned, when STEM, that STEM give to all of us. And there's also, I talk about the SDG 5, which is about empowering women and making sure that they participate in most industry. Like mentioned before, now a lot of the operation can be actually done from home or from monitoring room. So for women, they can still be part of the industry and not have to go on the operational side where things are quite rough sometimes. So, and it also gives them more, they are more willing as well to participate, and it helps them to manage if they have a family or extended family or close family to manage. They can actually create this balance and still be part and contribute their knowledge and their expertise into the industry. And also, we've seen so many opportunity with, energy being vital, for example, for healthcare. We have, we need energy to provide for certain technology that are going to power, instrument or tools or anything into the healthcare service. And also education, we've seen that you need the energy to power, for example, your computer that you are using right now and any other thing that you use. And it can actually help, some of the people who are in remote area to get, the opportunity to have an education or to participate in the economy, because we've seen it with agriculture as well. New tools, that technology, that energy power, to help them to ease the way they do now their work in agriculture. And the next thing is the creation of jobs. We're moving to clean energy. So this means new job in the renewable energy. We have energy like, solar now, and which are, more accessible. It's not, the sector is not now closed because you have to be in big projects that are, that require a lot of capital. Now you can start, something and generate your energy in your local area and at a cost-effective way. So create job on that. There's the thermal, industry as well, which is, creating jobs as well. And you have I talked about the waste management. Now, you can be in a remote area, have some waste, and then transform it to generate energy, to generate electricity. So a lot of good, good opportunity that are going to transform, not only, transform the world, but transform the life of everyday citizen, especially those who are still lagging behind right now. So create a sustainable economical, opportunity for them, and reduce poverty, because if they can access, those new jobs, those new way of creating energy, it's an opportunity for them to be part to be part of the big market and reduce poverty as well. So as you can see, energy and STEM together can actually cover a lot of the sustainable development goals. And we really need to look at it and accelerate it, because things are going fast, and we need to come with those solutions really fast as well. So, and we've seen, like I said, the cost falling. Now the technology are accessible to, to people at different level. It's not just people at the top anymore, and it has opened a lot of opportunity for anyone that really want to be part of the industry. So what I really want to leave, the audience with is that we need, we need STEM to be able to create, the environmental and economical sustainability that we want. And we need to put a lot of effort. We've started the process, but it's energy can no longer, be limited to small incremental steps. It must become a transformational effort, a big system based on the rapid upscaling and implementation of all the available technology to innovate for the future, and a future that is fully inclusive and environmentally and economically sustainable. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share all this knowledge and to be part of this prestigious conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Meral Tulikama. Thank you for your exuberant address and all the thought-provoking inputs you've given about the sustainable economy and technology innovation. Thank you. Thank you so much for your presence here.
You are welcome.
It's my privilege to introduce our distinguished keynote speaker, Dr. Gunita Arun Chandok. Dr. Gunita is a distinguished academician in commerce and an administrator with 25 years of experience in the field of education. She has served in various capacities, including head of the Department of Commerce, director and vice principal at self-financing education institutions in Chennai. She has various national and international paper presentations at Thailand and Romania and publications in Scopus Indexed and other international journals to her credit. She has served as resource person at various international forums. Dr. Gunita has been a panel member of FICCI, the Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry, Tamil Nadu Higher Education Council, and honorary chairperson of the Chennai International Youth Festival. In recognition of her contribution in the field of higher education, she has received several awards in the last decade, including the All India Best Administrator Award in 2015, Distinguished Educator and Scholar Award in 2016 from National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development, Award for Educational Leadership in 2017, and Excellence in Education Award in 2019. At present, Dr. Gunita is the professor and principal at Savita College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, Savita Institute of Medical and Technical Sciences at Deemed University, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. I now invite our distinguished speaker, Professor Dr. Gunita Chandok, to deliver the keynote address. Kindly unmute yourself, ma'am.
A very good morning. Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you very much for the nice introduction. A respected KVJ Professor Dr. R. Ganeshan, founder and chairman, Center for Research and Training, National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, Mrs. Ramya Kandelwal, chairman and director, NFED, conference conveners, the organizing committee, eminent speakers, and the august participants of this international conference. A very good morning. I deem it a pleasure to share my views on emerging trends in business and management. I would like to start with a few quotes on business and management. Managing is doing things right. Leadership is doing the right things. This is according to Peter F. Drucker, an American economist, management consultant, and educator. I don't believe in taking right decisions. I take decisions and then make them right. This is according to our successful industrialist, Mr. Ratan Tata. Good business leaders create a vision, articulate the vision, passionately own the vision, and relentlessly drive it to completion. Every industry faces changes in its trends. The business industry also witnessed different changes over time. These changes are called business trends. The business sector requires people to stay up to update with emerging trends in business and management. By being aware and also by adopting these trends, a businessman can increase his profit margins and thus be successful. While the world can't wait to bid adieu to 2020 and 2021, there is no doubt the coronavirus pandemic and the ways business had to adjust to ensure survival changed the trajectory of what 2021 would look like and what 2022 would further look like and what businesses should do to get ready for the upcoming year. Hence, companies should understand the latest trends and technologies and prepare their business and managements for these changes. Looking at various emerging trends in businesses in the last 2 years and also in 2022. E-commerce. This is otherwise called electronic commerce or internet commerce. There are several emerging trends in e-commerce these days, as we are all aware, such as Amazon, eBay, Flipkart, Myntra, Meesho, etc. Networking marketing is another trend, which is a medium of marketing where businesses use to increase their sales. This is a multi-level marketing involving large number of products and services and large number of distributors. Franchising is again catching up. It's an incredible way to expand business. It involves providing your business rights or license to a third party called the franchise, and the person who runs it is called the franchisor. Digital economy. From the very name, the digital economy implies all economic transactions are online. It includes businesses that are operated via digital technologies or the internet. BPO is again a huge industry that has impact on our global economy. Huge businesses outsource their business process jobs to third parties from different countries, thereby cutting costs and increasing profit margins. M-commerce is mobile commerce, is again a type of e-commerce. This method helps to get businesses on mobile phones. These days, as we are all aware, most people like to shop online via mobile phones. KPO is again catching up. Knowledge process outsourcing. It implies outsourcing different business tasks related to information such as analysis, consultancy, and research. Companies such as TCS and Wipro, they are providing KPO services. Aggregator. These days, there's a lot of information which is available on the internet via thousands of websites. Aggregator is a way to combine the information on a certain topic in one place. Other popular business trends which were there in 2020-21 were work from home, and which still continue today also. Work from home. With the lockdown orders due to COVID, companies had to adopt operations to remote workforce. Businesses had to reimagine their workplaces and provide right office equipment and mental health support to their employees. Automation was another shift in business. There have been shifts from warehouses, supply chains to chat booths that automatically take customer services inquiries. Virtual interfaces are on the increase. These are delivering services in digital forms using technology such as augmented reality and virtual reality. With stay-at-home orders, people use virtual avatars to try on clothes as well as makeup. This try before you buy with virtual interfaces transforms businesses. Today, the world is going from global to local. COVID-10 has disrupted international supply chains, and hence companies began to rethink more localized manufacturing and selling. So the world is moving more from global to local. Sustainability. Every company needs to rethink options and environmental impact their products have in order to maintain sustainability. Social engagement. During the pandemic, brands relied on engaging their customers across social media. Social media experts, influencers in the industry who drive conversations and engage with customers are totally into social engagement. In 2022, a few business trends which are likely are flatter, more agile organizations. More flatter organization structures which are flexible communities rather than a top-down pyramid structure are seen now. New forms of funding and borrowing, and such as crowdfunding and borrowing and trading through maybe a blockchain network are also on the increase. There's an increase in the changing employee experience. Now, employers have shifted to hiring people more on contract basis, with those contractors working remotely. Coming to emerging trends in management. TQM, Total Quality Management. This is a systematic approach to achieve organizational objectives to provide services and products with high quality that satisfies customers. Crisis management. Any situation that poses any kind of threat to an organization or to its stakeholders is termed as crisis management. It could be due to natural disasters, technological crisis, workplace problems, etc. Risk management. This is again a process of identifying, assessing, and prioritizing risks in any business. Change management is again a process through which management implement changes by preparing their employees to changes, both inside the organization and outside the organization. Supply chain management. Supply chains are now revamped to incorporate digitalization to create improvement in business outcomes. CRM is again a very important, this again is plays a very important role in retaining customers by maintaining good relations with them. Cloud-based technology is again adopted in offices today, in corporates and office management, which is a trend which is being followed currently. Computer-aided facility management. In this age of computerization, design and manufacturing products via computers brings efficiency. Knowledge management is again a process of creating, storing, using, and sharing knowledge as well as information within an organization. Time management is very, very important, an important trend in management. By managing the time well, every management ensures increased chances of advancement and greater productivity and efficiency and less stress in both in personal and professional lives. Green management is again a very important trend in management which has come up. This is about becoming aware of how your behavior, working practices, production methods impact the environment and make the business survive. A researcher today has the option to conduct research in any of these areas in business as well as in management. Thus, to conclude, there have been and currently are numerous trends in business and management which are to be adopted by enterprises and by corporates, which will ultimately lead to their sustainability. I thank Professor Dr. Ganeshan, Chairperson, NFED, and the organizing committee members for having given me this opportunity to voice my opinion on trends in business and management. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Gunita Chandok. Thank you for your enlivening address. Thank you for the information on the management, digital economy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I now extend my warm welcome to our distinguished keynote speaker, Dr. Tatvamasi Palta Singh. Dr. Tatvamasi obtained her doctorate from Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai, with a UGC Research Fellowship for her doctoral dissertation in the broad area of developmental sociology. She has more than 25 years of academic experience and has contributed substantially in the areas of research, teaching, community development, and other extension activities. She has directed several research projects related to elementary education, secondary education, higher education, tribal study, development studies, entrepreneurship, gender studies, evaluation, and policy studies. She has served as faculty at Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai, and Sardar Patel Institute of Economic and Social Research at Ahmedabad. She is holding many key positions in advisory boards, selection and recruitment committees, board of studies, and academic council at state and national levels. She has published papers in reputed national and international journals as well as edited volumes. Currently, she is working as professor and head of the PG Department of Sociology at Sambalpur University, Odisha. I now invite our distinguished speaker, Professor Dr. Tatvamasi, to deliver the keynote address. Kindly unmute yourself, ma'am.
Thank you, madam, for the nice introduction. And I'm really privileged to be a part of this international forum. So this is International Conference on Contemporary Researches in Engineering, Science, Management and Arts, organized by Center for Research and Training, National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development, NFED, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. So I am really thankful to Professor Ganesan and the entire team for inviting me to this prestigious forum. So my topic of deliberation today is on entrepreneurship education in India, local and global challenges in 21st century. So I'll be basically, my deliberation will be focused on the relevance of entrepreneurship education in today's context, which is highly competitive. I think we all know the relevance of entrepreneurship, and who is a person, entrepreneur is a person who is very effective, who has very effective control of commercial undertakings, and who undertakes business or an enterprise. And entrepreneur is an innovative person who maximizes his or her profits by following new strategies or venturing into new products or services. So it is the act of being an entrepreneur who starts any economic activity for being self-employed. And in today's challenging world, and this is of vital importance because today's students force after passing out are completely directionless what to do. So it is the process, entrepreneurship is the process of the an attempt to create value through recognition of business opportunity. It is basically a communicative and management functions to mobilize financial and material resources. So it is governed by varying combination of socioeconomic, psychological, cultural, and other factors, depending upon caste, class, religion, etc. Of course, family background also plays a vital role, level of education, level of perception, occupational background, characteristics of migration, entry into entrepreneurship, many things largely influence the entrepreneurial ability and to be the future entrepreneurs. So let me first focus on India's demographic dividend. Actually, India as a country, we are in a privileged position having the demographic dividend, unique demographic dividend. Now we have the most with youthful population in the world. Globally, we have a youthful population with more than 36% of the population in 2011 belonging to the age of 15 to 30 years of age, 34 years of age group. After that, census 2021 has not taken place because of the COVID situation, but we are considered to be a very youthful population having more than 36% of young generation population and who are mostly in the students age group. So I think it is time for the encouragement of the students to be the future entrepreneurs. And we have comparatively less dependent population, which are considered to be the children and elderly population, and which is declining, expected, and it is also expected to rise further after 2030. So it is the right time. So most of the developed world, including China, have an increasingly aging population. So the challenge is to translate this demographic transition to entrepreneurial ability among the younger generation. And in the current scenario, we have about labor surplus of more than 4 crores, and whereas many countries are having the deficit of more than 5 crores. So India has this demographic dividend privileged positions. I think we need to take the opportunity of this situation, and entrepreneurship is also considered to be prime mover in the development by nations, regions, and communities that actively promote entrepreneurship development, and they demonstrate much higher growth rates and consistently higher levels of development than other nations who hinder entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurial economy, whether on the national, regional, or community level, differ significantly from a non-entrepreneurial economy in many respects, and I think we all know about this. So wealth and a high majority of jobs are created by small businesses started by entrepreneurially minded individuals, many of whom go on to create big businesses and they become the future big entrepreneurs. People exposed to entrepreneurs frequently express that they have more opportunity to exercise creative freedoms, higher self-esteem, and an overall greater sense of control over their own lives. As a result, many experienced business people, political leaders, economists, and educators believe that fostering a robust entrepreneurial culture definitely can maximize individual and collective economic and social success in a local, national, and global scale. So with this in mind, entrepreneurship education can be developed further, and because education is the clearest path to individual opportunity and societal growth, and entrepreneurship education is especially vital to fuel a more robust global economy. And entrepreneurship brings new ideas to life through innovation, creativity, and the desire to build something of lasting value. Therefore, we must continuously foster educational cultures within our young generations among the communities to keep the entrepreneurship for the coming generations to come. So preparing today's students for success and eventual leadership in the new global marketplace is one of the most important responsibilities in education today. And entrepreneurship education is an important tool to achieve these objectives. And entrepreneurship education is also a lifelong learning process, starting as early as elementary schools and progressing through all levels of education, including adult education. So at the very initial stage, this entrepreneurial interest should be created among the young generation, even at the primary education level. The standards and the supporting performance indicators can work as a framework for teachers to use in building appropriate objectives, learning activities, and assessments for the target audience or the students. And progressively more challenging educational activities, experiences that will enable them to develop the insight can further be developed. And there are many benefits of entrepreneurship education. It can, help them to develop, generate interest and increase attendance, increase sense of locus of control, awareness of career and entrepreneurial options, refine entrepreneurs' contributions to society can be inculcated in the young mind, and opportunities, recognitions, problem-solving skills can be instilled in a very young mind, and they can also be taught the different steps of business ventures. It can also be carry forward in the middle school, high school level. It can decrease child labor, child abuse, and improve economic literacy and understanding, improve financial literacy, develop workplace literacy, become educated, empowered consumers, and through the learning opportunities. And it can also embrace the diversities, the socialization skills. We know that our country is highly stratified and based on caste, class, and gender. So these kind of diversities can be embraced through the entrepreneurial abilities and developing the entrepreneurial skills among the young minds. And they can be recognized the contributions of entrepreneurs, and they can foster, they can be encouraged to foster and value idea of the generations. And there could be many other benefits. It can also engage in ethical business practices, and they should know how to apply the basic accounting principles, demonstrate financial management from a very young generation. And they can also develop skills in business startups, demonstrate knowledge of business closings and versus failure. They should know about it, and the ground reality of how to become an entrepreneur, and ability to find next level of training to or access the resources and services. There are many benefits of instilling the entrepreneurial skill and abilities in the young mind. And they can also use the components of a business plan. They can be taught how to prepare a business plan, and they should also know the personal and career opportunities, their self-worth, ability to control one's own life, discipline, self-awareness, motivation, teamwork, creativity, problem solving, etc. So entrepreneurship is a remarkable force that has a huge impact on facilitating growth and societal progress of a nation. It involves innovation, employment generation, and social empowerment. So education is the area of entrepreneurship that can help people to develop skills and knowledge which could benefit them for starting, organizing, and managing their own enterprises. So you know that about 12% of the world's population in the age range of 18 to 60 years is constituted by entrepreneurs, and which is growing and which needs to be further enhanced. And there are many women entrepreneurs. Speakers have already highlighted on very interesting topics. And among the Asian countries, India, China, and Thailand demonstrate relatively high degrees of new technology in entrepreneurship. And an adequate provision for education is one of the important requirements for a nation's development. So initiating one's own ventures never has been an easy task. How information does not solve the purpose. So a formal training could help to move ahead with proper planning. Therefore, entrepreneurship education is gaining much momentum in recent times. Educational institutions imparting formal textual education may not be in a position to offer any assurance in the job market. In such situation, entrepreneurship education is extremely important as it encourages innovation, fosters job creations, and improves global competitiveness. Many of the top-ranking educational institutions pass out the students' alumni. Now they are becoming very, very successful entrepreneurs. The typical mindset to be employed rather than they want to be the employers. So this trend is gradually changing and which needs to be encouraged. And there are very important to know that how to collaborate and work with a team, and how to collect and analyze data, and how to use the advocacy tools. All these things can be inculcated. Students can learn to understand the product development cycle, come up with their own unique business proposals. Gradually, they will develop. And students learn to understand the product development also. Entrepreneurship education does not just benefit those entering the fields of science, technology, and business. Students with arts, music, humanities, social sciences also can develop their creative imagination and learn how to apply creative thinking skills to the real world problems. So I think so there are many benefits. So it prepares the students for an uncertain future, because future with a guarantee of job is always uncertain. And therefore, one cannot predict exactly what our students will need to know after they graduate. So entrepreneurship focused programs teach the students crucial life skills that will help them to overcome the negative thought, and they can always plan for a future, bright future. And this also, we have many other things like they can create a space for creativity and collaboration. And entrepreneurship education encourages creativity, innovation, and collaboration. And these attributes are highly valued in the top ranking institutions in the Indian context and global context also. And students need to learn how to develop and identify problems before they learn how to solve them. So identification of problem is a very crucial steps can be taught in a very young mind. Traditionally, problem solving is taught by presenting students with issues that are relatively defined by someone else, but in the real world, problems can only be solved when they have been properly identified and described. So entrepreneurship education teaches children to identify problems they have never been encountered before, a skill that will be very useful in tomorrow's world. And this can make the world a better place. Entrepreneurship seeks to solve problems, meet needs, and it can ease their discomforts with the help of their products and services. So by participating in entrepreneurship programs, students don't just become ready to create their own futures, they also become ready to change the world. So with this, I think I should conclude. I think I have taken adequate time.
Yes. Thank you, Professor Tattvamasi. Thank you for a enthralling address and the inputs on entrepreneurship education and the development programs you have shared with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I now extend my warm welcome to our distinguished keynote speaker, Dr. Aarti Chandani. Dr. Aarti has more than 22 years of experience in teaching and research. She has more than 50 publications to her credit and serves as guest editor for special issue of International Journal of Public Sector Performance Management and International Journal of Business and Globalization by InterScience. She is also the member of editorial board of International Journal of Digital Accounting Research. She is also reviewer of International Journal of Innovation Science, International Journal of Emerging Markets, Journal of Indian Business Research, and reviewer of Information Resource Management Journal of IGI Global. She has been bestowed with Outstanding Educator and Scholar Award by National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development in 2013, Best Teacher in Financial Management by Dainik Bhaskar National Education Leadership Awards in 2013 and Great Researcher National Award by IRDP Group of Journals in 2020. She is the conference convener of SIMSARC, an annual international research conference of Symbiosis Institute of Management Studies. Dr. Aarti Chandani is presently working as Associate Professor at Symbiosis Institute of Management Studies, Symbiosis International Deemed University at Pune, Maharashtra. I now invite our distinguished speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Chandani, to deliver the keynote address.
I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Good morning to one and all. It's my privilege and pleasure to be here. And I would like to thank the conference and the conference chair, Dr. Ganeshan, conference director, Dr. Ramya, and conference convener, Dr. Indra, and all the associate conveners, Dr. Manimugalai, Associate Professor Vimla, and Dr. Smita. Thank you very much from bottom of my heart for inviting me to this conference. It's my privilege. And I'm recall my association with NFED since 2011, and 2013, I got the first award of my life, which is very precious, from NFED. So since then, this association goes on. So here I start my topic, which is research strategy. So this conference is on research, so I thought to talk about research strategies. So first, as we know, typically a research paper will have these 5 parts: introduction, review of literature, research design, data analysis, and conclusion. And one tends to write the paper in this form, not to forget that we also need to write about title, abstract, and keywords, and references should also be there. So this is typically a flow in which a researcher would like to write the paper. So we think what should be the title, then we start writing abstract, then keyword, then we start writing introduction and all that. But to me, this is a very, very wrong approach. The paper has to be structured in this way, but that's not the right approach, according to me. So I'll just talk about what is the right approach as I feel, which should be followed. So first and foremost important thing is that we should decide the broad area. Say, for example, if I want to work on employee engagement, I research on the literature. If I want to work in the area of banking, I start reading the literature about banking. So broad area should be there, but then we should go down to do the review of literature. So we have the various databases, like we have the Scopus, EBSCO, we have other publishers, Emerald. So many other databases are available. So we should look for literature there. Otherwise, Google Scholar is there because that is free. Databases come with a price. We should keep in mind that we should have the recent literature included. Recent means if you are writing a paper in 2022, you should try to write literature which has been published from 2015 onwards. There's no point in writing the literature which was in 2000 or 1990 because the things change very fast. So there's no point in writing that literature unless you feel that is seminal. Then we talk about it should be relevant. We should just not include literature for the sake of including it. It should very much match your topic. That is very important. And as I mentioned, seminal work has to be included. If you are doing a study in corporate governance, you can't afford to miss the Cadbury Committee report. Similarly, if you are doing some studies in the area of banking, you need to cite highly cited authors there, the seminal work. Now, when we talk about this, once you have done the review of literature, you come to your research gap. That means what is missing and what I can, as a researcher, try to fill that gap. What are my research questions or objectives? That means if I'm trying to fill this particular gap, how do I actually approach that? And based on that, I create my hypothesis. So this should be the first step of writing the research paper. When we talk about research design, now research design, I have given majorly 5 parameters here, but there could be many. So one has to be, the whole objective of research design is to clearly tell the reader that how did I go about this research? It is very important. You have to be very transparent because this is where most of the researchers falter and they don't either pay attention or they are very careless in this. So we have to be very careful while writing this part, because this tells the reviewer whether you have done a genuine research or not. So if you are doing a research, which type it is, you have to decide whether it is quantitative or qualitative research, or whether you are doing exploratory or descriptive, what type of sampling plan you are using, what type of data, whether primary, secondary, what are the different instruments you are going to employ, whether it is a questionnaire, it is an interview, or it is simply reading the reports. So whatever you are doing in your research, you have to clearly mention that. What is the analysis tool you are going to employ, whether you are going to use Excel, you are going to use SPSS, you are going to use other tools. Also mention the time period when the study was conducted, because that is again important here. Then next comes, that is the third part. So first we have done the review of literature, then we did our research design. Now we come to data analysis. So that means I'm assuming that now after doing this, we have collected our data, we have completed our research. Now we are writing the analysis part. So when we are talking about analysis and discussion, you have to talk about validity and reliability of your data, because that is very important. Otherwise, the researcher will see how valid is your research, how valid are your results. You need to write more about interpretation. You don't prepare a table, a graph or figures, and then you write, it tells you that this is high, this is low. That is very much visible from the graph. What does it imply? That is more important. So implication or the interpretation is more important. You need to compare your findings with other literature. It is also important. You cannot stand alone in the research world. So you have to say that my research is on the similar line of so and so, or my research is different, or my research results are different from so and so. So you need to compare. It's not necessarily that it has to be same or it has to be different. So it can be somebody would be doing the research on the similar line, so your results might be matching, but somebody may not be matching. So that's fine. So this is the approach which we are talking about, quantitative paper, if you are writing a quantitative research. When we talk about data analysis and discussion, which is of qualitative nature. So in qualitative, what we are trying to do, we are doing either the case analysis or we are doing the interviews. So here you have to justify your results. When you are doing the interview, again, when we talk about the research design, you have to very clearly mention that it is a qualitative research. And when you do the interview, the same interview are going to put in some software, Indigo or some other software which are available. You need to generate major themes. What are the themes which are emerging? Because qualitative study is more into going inside or getting deeper inside, which a survey method cannot actually give you. So you have to get those insight and present those insight to the reader. And again, important point is that you have to correlate with the previous studies. That is something which is important and which one should not actually miss it. Then comes the next part, which is writing the introduction. That means I have done the literature review, I have done the research design, I conducted research, found the results, analyzed those. Now I'm going back to write my introduction. So here, you know what was to be done, what is already done, because review of literature has told you what you are doing it, and related literature, because you have already cited, that is available with you now. And now you create a story. Please understand, it is very important when you are writing a research paper, it is a story. You have to generate the interest of the reader. That's very important. And out of that story, you are creating that this is the problem which is not addressed till now, and that is what I'm going to solve with this particular research. So that's how the introduction has to be binded together. And now comes last part, you write the conclusion. Now conclusion will have a major sub parts here. So you are trying to give the findings, what you found it through the research, implications and limitations. So when you talk about findings, you write only the relevant finding, because some of the finding you have already written in the discussion part, which you need not write it again, but focus on the relevant. Please do not give the suggestion which are not coming from your study. Normally people say that if you are doing a study on banking, you say the bank should do this, whether you have studied that or not. No, if you have not studied, don't give the suggestion. So suggestion should strictly come from your research, not from your other knowledge otherwise. You have to write the implications. which are practical. How practical is your research, and how managers or the businessmen can apply this research and get benefit out of that. Then limitation should be in real sense. Normally what we see that limitations are written that the sample size was limited. I had the limited time. I could not do this because of this. If you know that those are the limitations which are existing, you should not be carrying out the research. So those limitations, you know, before the research exists, so you should not carry out. So limitations are to be in real sense, which are emerging when you do the research. It should not be simply those sample size, the time period, the availability of data, not like that. Then again, it should include, scope of the study, as well as how does it lead to the future studies which can be carried, because you cannot solve all the world's problem in one particular research paper. So you are trying to show at what are the ways in which this particular research can be carried forward. Last, you have to write title, abstract, and keyword. This is the last part of your research. So when you talk about title, it should ignite the interest of the readers. It should be very catchy, yet it should convey what you have done in that particular research. Then we write abstract. Now, abstract is just like an advertisement of a product. Now, if you do not like the advertisement, you're not going to buy the product. So similarly, if abstract is not good enough, nobody is going to buy your research paper for $50. Normally, we see that whenever we don't have access, it says buying option. So buying option say $50. So if somebody doesn't like your abstract, will that person buy the paper? No. So you have to sell your paper in that manner. Then you have to write the keywords. Now, keywords are very important, because if I'm trying to write a research paper, for example, on the board performance, so I will search board performance parameter. Now, the researcher who would have used those keywords will only come to my search result. So if I have not cited or I have not used the appropriate keywords, my research paper will not appear. So it's very important, and it has the direct bearing on the citation which you are going to receive. So very important points here. Now, this is the references which I have used here, and this is how one should write the references. But to tell you that it is wrong references, because we have not sorted it. So another point important here, you should take the references directly from Google Scholar. That gives you option to select the references, whether you want to do it in APA style, MLA style. So you take references from there. That's the safest way. And references should be always sorted in alphabetical order. You can see here, this is how I have done. So I think that's all from my side. I have covered in brief as to how one should go and write the research paper. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Chandani. Thank you for your exuberant address and this very informative session on research writing. Thank you so much. And yeah, I see messages in the chat box from our conference co-convener, Dr. Sunita. Thank you, Dr. Sunita. Yes, it was indeed very informative on the research article writing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I thank all the national and international keynote speakers for their august presence in this international conference today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming. So I now invite Karmavir Jyoti Professor Dr. R. Ganesan, the conference chair, to deliver the conference excerpts.
I'll do that. You can remove the co-host of Dr. Sai Kumar.
Sure.
And keep them in the mute mode. Is there all in mute mode, the director?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Continue, sir, please.
Yeah. Good noon to all of you. The 3-day ICCRESMA 2022 has exhibited 17 keynote addresses delivered by keynote speakers from countries like Finland, Singapore, United Kingdom, Australia, Malaysia, Oman, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Uganda, and India. So that itself you can show that how many people are from different countries have been garnered in this particular 3-day ICCRESMA 2022. And there are three main tracks in this international conference, mainly Science and Engineering Technology as SET track 1, Management, Innovation and Entrepreneurship MEI as track 2, and finally the Arts and Humanities AHU as track 3. So out of these three tracks, there are 14 streams have been covered. Under the Science and Engineering Technology track, SET track, the streams are Physics and Chemistry, Mathematics, Biology, Information Technology and Computer Science Engineering, EEE and ECE, Civil Engineering, and General Aspects, which included 68 presentations. Under the Management, Entrepreneurship and Innovation track, that is MEA track, track 2, the streams are Entrepreneurship Development, Marketing, and OB and HR, which included 29 presentations. Lastly, under the Arts and Humanities AHU track, the streams are Women's Studies, Education, Literature, and History, which included 37 presentations. There are 134 presentations across 19 parallel tracks through paper presentation sessions conducted and moderated by 33 session chairs, wherein 113 presentations up till now have been completed. This shows there is a percentage of, if you talk about a percentage, 84.33% of paper presentations have been covered, which is a remarkable achievement and indomitable accomplishment of our 3-day ICCRESMA 2022. Because you can see conferences where a lot of presentations will go on in absentia. Unlike the other conferences, this conferences, though it is conducted on web mode, we have got at 113 presentations have been taken now until now. So a total of 371 registered participants across 25 states and 3 union territories, constituting 77.77% of India's academic participation in this international conference. That means almost more than 70% India has been showing the representation in this conference. We have got a lot of participants from different states and union territories. The research deliberations have provided all of us with adequate knowledge sharing and intellectual enlightenment. The keynotes by various national and international speakers have highlighted on technology innovation, digital transformation, scientific promulgation, entrepreneurship development, research structuring, artificial intelligence, design thinking, energy management, educational transition, and business promotion, etc. I am sure the scientific inventions, technological innovations, management process and trends, artistic approaches, and humanistic views discussed in this ICCRESMA 2022 have been truly wisdomic and sensational. This knowledge sharing platform paves the way for a holistic transformation in our research endeavors. Also, ICCRESMA 2022 has reinvigorated all of us to enrich our research insights and its promulgation through righteous research contributions towards achieving the overall socioeconomic growth and sustenance of our nation and globe. My hearty congratulations to Conference Director, Mrs. Ramya Kandavel, for hosting this 3-day ICCRESMA 2022 successfully until now. My best wishes to all the keynote speakers, distinguished session chairs, conference conveners, organizing secretaries, organizing committee members, paper presenters, and participants of this international conference. I wish you all success. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor, for the elaborate experts. Thank you so much. Welcome back, everyone, for the valediction session. So I would now like to introduce our distinguished conference co-convener, Associate Professor Dr. V. Sunita. Dr. Sunita earned her PhD in applied geochemistry from Osmania University, Hyderabad. She possesses 15 years of experience in academics and research and has contributed significant work on quality characterization of groundwater and risk assessment using geospatial and statistical tools in southern Andhra Pradesh. She has authored 80 SCI journal articles, has participated and presented in national and international conferences and workshops. She has delivered sessions on groundwater sustainability, remote sensing, natural resource exploration, etc. She is a member of various international and national scientific bodies. For her contributions in the field of geology, she has been bestowed with Andhra Pradesh Scientist Award in 2020, Young Scientist Award from Department of Science and Technology, DST, New Delhi, and Senior Educator and Scholar Award from NFED in its 12th National Teachers Day Awards 2021. At present, she is working as Associate Professor in the Department of Geology at Yogi Vemana University, Kadapa, Andhra Pradesh. I now invite our distinguished conference co-convener, Associate Professor Dr. Sunita, to deliver the welcome note.
Thank you, ma'am, for your warm introduction. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I extend my warm welcome to this validation session. I intend to mark that globalization has needed developments in all disciplines of study in order to bring in a holistic growth. Furthermore, the new vistas in research have opened up to meet the developing trends in all the industry and service sectors over time, as well as facilitating the avoidance of antiquity through regular entrepreneurial breakthroughs in terms of agronomic elements for societal well-being. This is quite true amidst the current pandemic, wherein the digitalization of information dissemination has advanced many fortes in the academic sector. In the past, scientific contributions have only seen sporadic growth and progress. However, it was unable to fully assess the systematic sequences of development throughout, which could be due to lack of integration of research across multidisciplines and its consistency in reaching a holistic societal wellness. The current global landscape is ever-changing, and it necessitates balanced growth and interpretation in every part of the livelihood effectiveness as survival gets more difficult during this pandemic or during the coming years. This necessitates the information sharing through bringing together research from many scientific disciplines and interdisciplines in order to improve the overall socio-academic growth. Keeping these considerations in view, this worldwide conference aims to revolutionize current research paradigms in science, basic sciences, medical sciences, paramedical sciences, social sciences, and so on, engineering, technology, management, and arts, including humanities. As a result, the International Conference on Contemporary Researchers in Engineering, Science, Management, and Arts, ICCRESMA, has been created and powered by Center for Research and Training, a growth action unit of NFED, to assess and collect interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary research contributions across India and the globe in order to disseminate the knowledge and equip knowledge sharing. In fact, this is the reason for having this conference theme as contemporary research contributions towards holistic global restructuring. The goal of this international conference is to encourage and promote the research abilities of students, researchers, scholars, academicians, practitioners, and entrepreneurs from various academic institutions, organizations, and corporations, as well as to highlight the holistic research contributions in light of the current trends and the future challenges for societal upliftment and global development as well. This conference aimed to be a platform for disseminating the research results in the field of engineering, science, management, and arts without borders, a platform for discussions and opportunities for mutual sharing, knowledge, working in the scientific research. That's why we are proud to organize the International Scientific Manifestation. We are honored by your continuous support towards participation in the international conference, which promotes technology advancements, scientific innovations, management trends, and humanistic views as parts of the formative direction of the modern society based on unity, evolution, efficiency, and innovation. As a token of respect, I heartily thank and appreciate the conference chair and chief patron, KVJ Professor Dr. Ganeshan, founder and chairman of National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, and conference director, Mrs. Ramya Kandvel, executive chairman and director, National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, and also the conference convener, Dr. Indira, professor, Center for Research and Training and Dean Academics, National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, and other conference co-conveners, Dr. R. Manimegalai, professor and head, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, PSG Institute of Technology and Applied Science, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, and Associate Professor S. Esther Vimala, Head Department of Economics, St. Mary's College, Thuthukudi, Tamil Nadu, for opting this group, which is highly needed for today's academia, to disseminate their thought process in terms of knowledge sharing. I'm sure the keynote address by various eminent speakers from India and abroad and the breakout sessions across the tracks during these 3 days, which have highlighted and enlightened the research communities, practitioners, and entrepreneurs. I heartily welcome all the organizing secretaries, organizing committee members, distinguished session chairs, paper presenters, and participants of our ICCRESMA 2022. We have eminent speakers for validation of ICCRESMA 2022. I, on behalf of the National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, India, feel immense pleasure in welcoming our today's valedictory keynote speakers, Professor S. Magesh, Chief Advisor, National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development, Chairman and Director, Majestic Technology Solutions Private Limited, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Dr. P. Sesireka, Professor, Sri Sai Ram Institute of Management Studies, Sri Sai Ram Engineering College, West Tambaram, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Dr. Reshmi Krishnan, Associate Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering and Head of Research, Muscat College, Sultanate of Oman, and Mr. Owaid Khan, Co-founder and Chief Product Officer, Talons Pte. Limited, Singapore. I'm sure their valedictory keynote addresses will provide us with more insights for understanding the research perspectives and current trends. I once again welcome you all. Thank you. Thank you, Professor Dr. R. Ganeshan, for involving me as one of the co-conveners for this prestigious international conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Sunita, for your warm welcome note. Thank you so much. And before continuing with the valediction speech, I request all the dignitaries, all the keynote speakers to kindly switch on your video so that I might take a screenshot. Professor Magesh, Dr. Reshmi, Professor Sasireka, and Mr. Owaid Khan. Okay, Mr. Owaid Khan's video is not available. Just a moment. Let me take a screenshot.
Voice Khan is available now.
Yes, his video is available. Yeah. Yes, just a moment. Thank you everyone. Now it's my privilege to welcome our distinguished valediction keynote speaker, Professor S. Magesh. Professor Magesh is a notable academician and committed entrepreneur. Apart from his engineering background and a perpetual learner, he holds multifarious credentials in diverse areas from engineering, science, arts, administration, technology, linguistics, and management. He has a distinguished career spanning in engineering institutions for 15 years and 10 years of corporate experience. He has refereed index journals in Web of Science, ESCI, Scopus, and Springer publications, 2 books and a book to his credit. Professor Magesh is a hands-on director with expertise in information technology, human resource management, e-business development, and soft skills development. He started Maruti Technocrat e-Services, MTES, foreseeing the needs of comprehensive e-commerce and e-business development platforms in the new business market. Over the years, Professor Magesh has diversified his business line to include publications, manpower services, and educational and support services. He is an empaneled language trainer with Wordsworth and Officers Training Military Academy at Chennai. He has won many awards and accolades during his academic and entrepreneurial career. Presently, he serves as the chairman and director of Majestic Technology Solutions, director of Jupiter Publications Consortium, Chennai, and professor and chief advisor of National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development, Coimbatore. I now invite our distinguished speaker, Professor Magesh, to deliver the special address.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. Most respected and erudite Karmavir Jyoti, Professor Dr. R. Ganesan, Chairman, National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development, Executive Chairman, Mrs. Ramya Kandavel, conveners, professors from various varsities and colleges, presenters, and ladies and gentlemen. Today, it's given me immense pleasure. Today is the third day of our international conference, ICCRESMA 2022. The main impact of today's scenario is technology. So today, I would like to give a brief presentation for about 10 minutes on the technological impact of entrepreneurship in the modern era. Why entrepreneurship, where the technology is creating a major impact? First is the impact on operating cost. See, most of the small business owners, they should consider implementing technology in the planning process for streamlining the integration and to make room for future expansion. Why I'm considering about the small business owners, we always talk about Tata, Birla, Goenkas, all the legends and doyens of the entrepreneurs in this world. But we have to develop, we have to recommend, we have to care of the small entrepreneurs who are making an indispensable change in the upcoming new era. So the use of technology that has to reduce the business cost, that is the ultimate aim. And most of the small business owners, they should have a vision of considering themselves of how to implement this technology only through the planning process. So the planning process in the initial stage itself, that has to be streamlined and integrated. So they should take a advice before investing their money in their business. So if they are hasty enough to invest money in their business, they are going to entangle and they are going to struggle. So rather, they need a lot of experience in the initial stage. They have to work for 4 or 5 years, a span of time where they learn the rudiments of the business. And after that, taking the direction from the foundation like our NFED and other major organization and business owners. And they have to be in the shoes of the business owners to understand what is the latest technology that is required for them to run the business. So here the use of technology is to reduce the business cost. For example, before 20 years back, if we have to employ the marketing executives, especially for marketing purpose, there may be 5 or 10 marketing persons in that company. The owner may not be aware that whether the marketing person is really bringing business to them or not, because they are not aware about the whereabouts of the marketers, where they go, where they do the business. And even if they want to call or communicate, it was not possible. And nowadays we have more marketing app that track the records of the marketers, and instantly it gives the message to the business owners. And of late, supposing any implementation that has to be done in the stage, it is possible for them to give those details instantaneously. So this is the latest technology that we are seeing, that how to track the people and get the information done within the stipulated time frame. And when we talk about the artificial intelligence, so now the talk of the contemporary thing is the artificial intelligence. So most of us, what we think is, you see, previously we have only the BE degree courses like computer science and information technology. Now we can see a BTech degree on artificial intelligence and machine learning. The importance in future, it is going to be towards artificial intelligence. It's nothing but, for example, a police man standing on the road and controlling the traffic. And one of the car is passing the white line, or it is going above the white line or crossing the road. It is possible for him to note down the number and charge it. And he can give a charge sheet to that driver. But just think that if this is going to be some 10 or 15 cars he may find it difficult. So where we need a camera, is artificial intelligence setup, where it can capture all the number plates. So this artificial intelligence is coming forth. So what small business owners and other things they have to understand. So they need the basic things, rudimentary things, which is essential for them to pace up their business. Next one is the improved communication process. How the improved communication process, nothing but the emails, textings of websites and apps, which are in day-to-day life, it is indispensable. That all of us, we know that. But using the email or something which is for past 20 or 25 years, we are using emails. But what is the improved thing that through the email we can do it? So there are so many technological impact that is involved in that has to be learned by the new business owner, and they have to use that efficiently. Improved communication process. Next comes the improved communication process. So technology improves inter-office communication. We all know that technology is improving the inter-office communication. And we have a lot of the centralized portal to access. Nowadays, they are using the social intranet software that gives employees a centralized portal to access and update internal documents and contracts and relay relevant day-to-day affairs of other departments instantly. So that possibility is there nowadays, and that has to be improved through the inter-office communication process. So there are certain softwares nowadays. Before 20 years back, it was costing more. Nowadays, the cost has drastically come down because of the availability. Next is the increased employee productivity. How to improve the increased employee productivities? Computer programs and business softwares usually allow employees to process more information than manual methods. Manual methods at point of stage, even in banks, we see before 20 years back, they were using all the books and ledgers. Nowadays, it is possible for us to go and take the money out from an ATM. Nobody is standing in the queue and taking the money, right? Now we are using the technology in a way, in a technology to the extent that we can grab all the information immediately and as per the need. Even at 24/7, 24 hours, it is possible for us to communicate effectively, and whatever the requirement, it is done through technology. So avoiding paying labor cost along with the employee benefits, which is one of the most fundamental factors that we have to learn, allowing the employees to process more information than the manual methods. Next is the broadening the customer bases. How we have to broaden the customer bases. So technology allows small businesses to reach new economic markets rather than just selling consumer goods or services in the local market. So most of them on those days, we used to sell in the local markets, but nowadays small business owners can reach the regional, national, and international market. How is it possible now? Nowadays, we have websites, the websites or the business portal, which will allow you to do your business. For example, we can take Ola or Uber without a single, more investment on all the car or the four-wheelers or even the two-wheelers nowadays. There is no such kind of investment, only the technology-driven industry. So we need only the technology there to run to the industry. That owners are different. Owners are in different database, in different places where we collect the database along with the GPS information and send information to them to run the business. So the possibility is broadening the customer bases. It's through regional, national, and international level. Amidst of all the COVID pandemic sequences, we have seen that we are able to run the business even through online. It was possible for us to run the business, and it is possible as of now also, including the international conferences. For example, on those days, it was possible only truly international conferences was really remote. In one or two places it may occur, but they found it very difficult to call such person here and conduct the conference and with all the infrastructure and other things. But now it is possible to interact with all the community, academic community and other community through the net. Next is the collaboration and outsourcing. How we can do the collaboration outsourcing is business technology is always allowing the companies to outsource business function to other businesses in the national and international business environment. It is You see, outsourcing is one of the primemost factor. Instead of investing, I'm a small business owner. For example, if I'm a small business owner, if I have to invest more, I have to take a lot of loans or have to sell my lands or something else for doing my business. Rather, we understand that, for example, if I'm going to buy a printing machine, which costs more than 50 lakhs or 1 crore. And the thing is, in the initial stage of our business, we have to understand whether this investment is going to be helpful for us or not. If it is not, we have to outsource that thing to one particular place where they can give us at a less price. So in that case, we will be in a position to run the business for a period of time, and thereafter gaining the momentum of the business, we can invest on that particular product or anything which is going to be viable for doing our business in a full-fledged manner. So collaborating and outsourcing is one of the most important factors for the technological impact of entrepreneurship. So now let us understand, I've said so many related things about the operating cost, the marketing, the artificial intelligence, the communication, improved employability, productivity, customer bases, collaborating and outsourcing. All this comes under the technological impact of entrepreneurship. But above all, what we do in NFED, how we disseminate this through NFED, that is very, very essential at this point of time to understand, because we have conducted 3 days of our international conference. I think in this world, nobody will be spending 3 days of the valuable time in conducting an international conference like this. It is not possible. It is not just easy as we think. Conglomerating all the people together, collecting all the papers, and all of you know very well that about Professor Dr. Arganesan, that he is very a strict person who goes through all the paper and he gives a correction and everything appropriately. It is not just like that it is done. So the prodigious efforts has been taken by the National Foundation of Entrepreneurship Development, with all the members, with all the conveners, co-conveners, professors, session speakers. They have taken a lot of efforts to conclude this international conference. So our responsibility in disseminating the National Foundation for Entrepreneurship, because from the time immemorial, maybe from the year 2003, after Professor Dr. Arganesan completed his PhD in entrepreneurship from the renowned Indian Institute of Technology. First thing, you see, most of us, they will be craving and longing to work as a workforce. Rather, he started this foundation as a vision. So I always consider NFED chairman as the father of the modern entrepreneurship in India, because of the impeccable service that he has done to the community at large for the past 20 years span of time. He has spent all his energy and other things for the sake of this entrepreneurship. So he used to say, he always say that economic progress is not gradual and peaceful, but rather disjointed, abrupt, and sometimes unpleasant also. He always used to say the term creative destruction to describe the dismantling of long-standing practices in order to make a way for the new technology, new kinds of products, new methods of production, and new means of distribution. This is how it, see, the normal human being, supposing they want to run the business, if they are not aware, of what is happening around them, what is the new technology that is emerging day in and day out, if you're not aware of it, that you'll become obsolete. So in that case, he used to say this, to make the way for new technology, new kind of product, new methods of production, and new means of distribution. That is the main thing. So the existing company must quickly adapt to the new environment. If you're not adapting to the new environment, definitely we are going to fail. So adaptation to the new environment or the technology, if we say that we are not going to adapt to the new technology, if you are not ready to adapt the new technology, definitely that it is not going to be a promising entrepreneurship for us. So it sounds that somewhat Darwinian, I can say, Darwinian. So it is Dr. Arganesan intimated a process of industrial mutation of uses, that biological term, that incessantly revolutionizing the economic structure from within, incessantly destroying the old one. So of late, incessantly creating a new one. Incessantly, we are going to create a new one. As he used to say, the process of creative destruction is essential fact about capitalism. So it's like an old fast. You will always know that there is a positive side as well as the negative side. And he always talk about the capitalism and socialism. So the process of the creative destruction is the essential fact about capitalism. So if you want to catch up some business and you want to run that, hope so it is not going to go for a long run unless or otherwise, if we plan meticulously and we have to be alert, vigilant, what is happening around us and enhances ourselves and keeping some sort of money for updating our technology, that is going to help us a lot. So entrepreneurs control the economy because they are responsible for delivering innovation and technological change. So they are responsible for delivering the new innovation and technological change. So change is immaterial. So change always occurs in this world. So we cannot help out. There is a change, there is a progress, there is a technological impact, there will be a technological change. So entrepreneurial, always they are controlling the economy. They are responsible for delivering innovation and technological change. I request the budding entrepreneurs to be responsible. I request the budding entrepreneurs, even the academicians, to think about how they have to be responsible by connecting with the foundation like NFED, because NFED has disseminated a lot of such programs, so many youth programs and other things at free of cost without expecting any money in return. So we have to understand this. Most of the ceremonies like award ceremonies and other things are done at free of cost by the National Foundation for Entrepreneurship. At this juncture, connecting with NFED for the past 14 years of my life, entire 14 years I was connected with this organization. I'm really happy and I'm really proud to say there is a big change that I'm seeing right from the year 2003 to 2009, from 2019 to 16, and thereafter from 2016 to 2022, there is a drastic change in the development of the National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development. And for the thing, what Professor Dr. R. Ganesan, along with the other presidium members of the National Foundation for Entrepreneurship and the new incumbents and other professors and other academicians are joining hands and going to help lend their hand in providing a positive thing for the NFED. So with this, I would like to conclude my speech, the keynote address on the technological impact of entrepreneurship in modern era. I thank the chairman, the vice chairman, and the presidium of NFED for giving me this chance to talk on this topic. And I wish all success for the future endeavors of NFED. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Professor Magesh, for this very insightful address. Thank you so much. I now express my hearty welcome to our distinguished keynote speaker, Dr. V. Sasirekha. Dr. Sasirekha earned her PhD in management and has more than 20 years of experience teaching for management and engineering students. She also possesses 2 years of industrial experience in the field of marketing, software, and administration. She has published more than 65 research papers to her credit in refereed and indexed journals and also written a few book chapters in edited books. She has participated and presented in numerous national and international conferences. She is the coordinator of the Women's Empowerment Cell, which is into fostering entrepreneurship development activities. She has bagged the Women Achievers Award from Education Today in 2014, Top 10 Influential Women Educators in Tamil Nadu in 2019, and Distinguished Women Educator and Scholar Award from National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development in 2020. She is currently serving as professor in Sri Sai Ram Institute of Management Studies at Sri Sai Ram Engineering College, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. I now invite our distinguished speaker, Professor Dr. Sasirekha, to deliver the special address.
Respected founder and chairman of NFED, Dr. KVJ Ganesan, Conference Director and Executive Chairman of NFED, Madam Ramya Kandavel, Conference Convener, Dr. P. Indra, Co-Convener of this conference, Dr. Sunita, the other keynote speakers of this valediction session, the session chairs, conference participants, and other dignitaries. A very happy evening to one and all present here. First of all, I would like to thank the team NFED for giving me this opportunity to present in this 3 days international conference on ICCRESMA. In this session, I would just like to place two messages. One is about having experience of more than 2 decades in the management education. I would like to spend a few thoughts and present few thoughts on reorganization, which is very essential for the successful existence of any business organization. Reorganizing comes in two forms because now we are facing an ever-changing management scenario. We know, like after this pandemic has come into foray, we are now experiencing turbulent changes in almost all the industries. So in this ever-changing environment, organizations, how they can survive as well as how they can succeed is only by going for reorganization. And this reorganization comes in two different forms. One is, we call it as restructuring, and the other one is reconfiguration. Restructuring is the process by which the organizations change their business model, which they were earlier doing. For example, if earlier they were concentrating based on their product line, now they can restructure their internal businesses. That is, they can allocate the resources and activities now, probably based on technology. Similarly, reconfiguration is a concept whereby the organizations go for either adding, splitting, or combining, or merging, or dissolving their business units, which is in the overall way. Your restructuring is changing the business model in which things are being done, and reconfiguration is a larger concept. Now, there are many organizations, of course, all the successful organizations you can name, they have either gone for restructuring or reconfiguration of their business practices so that they remain successful as well as they are able to combat the competition which they are facing. The examples I could quote is, for example, your Tesla. Elon Musk, he recently restructured his strategy. What they have done is, in the process of restructuring, they are coming out with a flattened organization structure. Flat organization structure is not a new thing, but still it comes under the restructuring strategy. So Tesla has gone for restructuring. Similarly, if you take Microsoft also, they keep on restructuring their business practices. Earlier, they were concentrating on business line. Presently, they have restructured their strategy, and now they are focusing more on the technology that is based on the functions as well as based on technology. Similarly, if you take IBM, IBM has taken both reconfiguration as well as restructuring technology. Initially, they started with restructuring, and later on they moved on to reconfiguration. And if you take Novartis goes for reconfiguration. The pharmaceutical giant, it goes for reconfiguration strategy, whereby earlier they were having 4 divisions. Now they have splitted it. They splitted one division into 2, and so now they have 5 business divisions. Like this, the organizations, they constantly go for either restructuring or reconfiguring in order to remain in this business scenario, in this changing business scenario. So which is the right strategy, whether it is reconfiguration strategy or because some organizations, they say restructuring does not give profit or reconfiguration does not give profit. But obviously it depends upon the situation. As I was telling you, in this dynamic situation, nothing is certain. You cannot say that this will give you better benefits and this won't give. So depending upon the situation, the organization has to go for the situational analysis, and they have to either pick up reconfiguration or they have to pick up restructuring strategies. In fact, organizations have to reconfigure themselves in order to go for restructuring. In this international conference, I've seen that more than 130 papers, around 140 papers have been presented so far. And I could also observe that in the management section, almost all the researchers will be around either this reconfiguration or restructuring only. So way forward for any management researcher is to stick on to these kind of strategies which organizations are following. The second message which I would like to leave in this valediction session is about the research on the title Engineering, Science, Management and Art. The research is the way forward. It is going to be only multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary research. You cannot have a very strict research only on engineering or only on management or art, because almost the researchers are done and tested. If you take engineering discipline, you could see like there are so many researchers which have been done on almost all the topics. Similarly, management, all the topics have been done and tested. So many researchers are there. So what room does it leave for the researchers in the coming years? They only have to concentrate on what you call it as the interdisciplinary research, whereby they do not limit themselves. Their research activities should not limit themselves to only one area, like engineering or management or arts or science. Instead, they should go for interdisciplinary research, where they take more than one discipline in their research. And this interdisciplinary research comes in three forms. One is your cross-discipline, where they can take related disciplines, like related disciplines in the sense, anything which is related to the core area, they can take it. Like if you take information technology itself is a combination of ECE and computer science. Like that, they can go for a cross-discipline research. So those, instead of talking strictly just on one discipline, they should go for cross-disciplinary research. Second thing is they can also go for multidisciplinary research, whereby they collaborate 2 or 3 totally different disciplines. For example, science as well as mathematics can be taken together, or management and science can be taken together. Now, analytics itself is a combination or amalgamation of management as well as computers, like that. So you can go for multidisciplinary research. And next comes a transdisciplinary research, where you need a cooperative interaction between all these scholars and the research practitioners. So of course, this is happening. So instead of concentrating on one discipline, I believe that the researchers way forward, they should take other disciplines also, and thus will come out some beautiful findings and interpretations. So as I already understand that more than 130 papers have been presented, and I clearly know like it is very difficult to manage even few papers in a conference. And NFED team, CRT of NFED team, they have conducted this conference for 3 days, that on the virtual mode. It is not easy to collaborate all the people, putting them in the right track, and having so many keynote speakers and session chairs, and sticking on to the time. There are so many challenges definitely in conducting a conference. And as Mahesh sir was rightly pointing out, the example of professionalism is Dr. Ganesan. The way he carries the things forward is astonishing to see. It's amazing. A person without discipline and professional commitment cannot take or move things of this size in a very good way, which is of benefit not only for the people who are presenting, but also for the entire academic fraternity, I would say. Of course, he has the right people to support him, like Madam Ramya Kandavel and other members of the NFED team. Without the efforts, meticulous efforts, and the tremendous efforts, definitely, I don't think this sort of conference would be possible. So I present my great appreciations, and I also submit my laurels to Dr. Ganesan and his team for conducting this wonderful conference. And once again, thanks for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Sasireka. Thank you for very nice, elaborate speech, actually, and thank you for all the appreciation. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I now express my hearty welcome to our distinguished keynote speaker, Dr. Reshmi Krishnan. Dr. Reshmi has completed her doctorate in computer science and engineering and is also awarded with postdoctoral fellowship from University of Stirling, UK. She possesses 26 years of academic experience. She is a program reviewer in Sultanate of Oman with Ministry of Higher Education. She serves as advisory board member for Indian schools in Oman and various colleges and universities in Oman. She was honored with prestigious Women Icon India Global Award to acknowledge and recognize contributions to the society in education by the Governor of Tamil Nadu in 2019, Distinguished Women in Engineering Award for the initiatives and developments in the field of computer science and engineering in 2018, and Distinguished Educator and Scholar Award from NFED in 2020. She has 9 research-funded projects, 6 book chapters, and more than 175 research publications to her credit. She is a reviewer of international journals and PhD theses from Indian universities. She has organized conferences and workshops at national and international levels and has acted as resource person and keynote speaker in more than 40 seminars, workshops, conferences at national and international levels. She is currently serving as Associate Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering and Head of Research at Muscat College, Sultanate of Oman. I now invite our distinguished speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Reshmi Krishnan, to deliver the special address.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, researchers, esteemed speakers, and organizers of this wonderful international conference. I'm expressing my sincere gratitude to the organizers of this international conference on contemporary researchers in engineering, science, management, and art 2022. That is the organizers National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development, NFED, and Center for Research and Training, for inviting me as a valedictory speaker. Actually, it is noted that the conference from the paper presentation, the titles of the paper that were presented here, it is noted that the conference has focused various perspectives of research in different areas. So that's a very amazing thing. And I appreciate NFED for taking such wonderful initiatives and knowledge sharing. Today, in this valedictory speech, I am going to present the effective dissemination of research through good publications. So directly, I am going to the presentation slides. I'm going to share my slides here. Hope you can see it.
Yes, ma'am, is visible.
Yeah. So today's my topic is effective dissemination of research through good publications. Nowadays, what I have observed with the researchers are, whether it is a master students or researchers, that is, we can say that early career researchers, that is the beginners of the researchers, they are very much, their awareness is less regarding the good publications. So they are doing publications, but what is good and what is not good, that's a question mark now. So here I am just sharing some knowledge what I have regarding the publications. What is the publication process? It's mainly for the early career researchers. That's a beginner researchers. So we know that why publishing means it's one of the necessary steps embedded in the scientific research process. Usually we are new and original results or methods we use to publish, and reviews or summaries of particular subject also we use to publish, and manuscript that advance the knowledge and understanding in a certain scientific field. And we are not supposed to publish reports of not scientific interest and out-of-date work, duplications of previously published work, incorrect or unacceptable conclusions. So always we need a good manuscript to present your contributions to the scientific community. Then I'll tell you why, what's the need for publishing. See, there are 2 reasons for that. Anyway, we know that we are doing research. The ultimate aim of research is, it is not for, okay, it is for promotion. We are using it for our personal benefit, but more than that, actually the real meaning, the research is for the community benefit. Okay, it should be beneficial to the community. That is the main goal of research. And so when we are doing and we are getting some findings, it should be disseminated to the community. That's very important. If it is not disseminated, how it will be beneficial to the society? So this dissemination part will be done by these publications only. So that is the first intention of publication. And second is, if we are not documenting all this, the process or procedure or the findings of the research, so tomorrow it will be forgotten. And we also, if it is not kept safely or if it is not documented, we ourselves, we cannot able to remember it, what was the procedure, and after 10 or 20 years, we will not get it back and we cannot restudy it. So for the future generation, we are documenting it. So that is the another intention of this publication. So again, always this documentation of the research and this for the community beneficial publication is very, very essential. Usually a submission process is like that. We are submitting we are submitting a paper to an editor of a journal. Nowadays, so many journals, so many conference proceedings are available, book chapters are available. So whatever it is, we are submitting a paper, and the basic requirement, basic screening they are doing, filtering they are doing. If it is good, then they will assign the reviewers, and then reviewers, usually 2 or 3 reviewers will be assigned. They will be the subject experts, and they will check, they will review the paper, and they will review, their feedback will be given, and it will be different types of reviews will be there. It will be conveyed to the author. And again, sometimes the reviewers will reject it. Otherwise, if some modification like that, again, the revision will be done by the authors. And again, it will go to the reviewers. And finally, with the permission, approval of reviewers, it will come to the, that is, we will revise the paper. And again, it will go to the editor for publication. So this is the normal procedure of a publication. And we are starting, we can say that copying with the slow publication process. Always it is advisable. That is, you have to start writing early without waiting for result to be in. That is, okay, after getting the result only, I will publish a paper. It's not like that, because till reaching that end, we have so many processes. We are going through so many processes, and everything can be documented. So many analysis can be done. No? So methodology, if it is in a computer science, we can say that so many methodology we are doing, algorithms, what are the mechanisms we are doing, and what are the analysis we are doing. If it is in the management side, data collection is there, analysis is so many processes we are going through till before getting the result. So don't wait for the result, and before that we can start writing the publication. And you can, after sending this publication, suppose you are not getting any correspondence from the editor, so definitely you can inquire about it. So that is, you can do a follow-up after 6 or 8 weeks of submission. And these are the usually found reasons for rejection by journals. That is mismatch with aims and scope. That's a very important thing. Just like that, we are sending some our paper to any journals or conference proceedings. Good journal, they will not accept. Usually good journals, some special edition, some edition will be focused on some special domain or area. So if our paper is not focused, is not matched with that particular aim and scope of the journal or the conference proceedings, they will not accept it. So lack of novelty or significance, this is another thing. Nowadays, that is why they are giving it to the reviewers. Okay, the novelty is very much, very, very important. If it is not there, then what is the need for publishing it? Okay, good journals, they will never accept such publications. And flaws in study design, poorly organized manuscript. So along with this, all these technical things and all this formatting and organization of the paper is also very important. Usually for all journals or conference proceedings, they will give you a format. They have some specified format, and all other formatting instructions or structure of the paper will be given. So exactly as per that one. The thing is, when they are publishing in a printed format, all the papers should be in the same format, in the same readable format. That is why they are insisting for the format and the organization structure and the paper structure. So if it is a very poorly organized structure, initially itself it can be rejected. So errors of spelling, grammar, etc. That also, spell check, grammar mistake. The language is very, very important because we cannot blame them, because it is an international. They have to keep their standard. So always that the standard of the language. Usually nowadays all research publications are now in English only. So that language editing is very important. See, we are not native speakers. We know that, especially I'm telling about the researchers in India. But actually nowadays in all good journals, they have some editing team. If we can pay some amount, they will do the editing. So if our contents, technical contents are ready, if we are sending, the editing, they can do, a team will be there. So nothing wrong in that. Okay. So language editing can be done, or we can outsource it. We can take support from outside. That is all, because the content is more important. Then ignoring journals instructions. So some journals, each journal is having its own instructions. So always we need to follow their instructions. And ethical misconduct is the very, very important thing. Nowadays, similarity checking is there. So software itself is there. So we may think that, okay, it will not be identified. It will not be, identify. No, it's not like that. So using different types of tools, they are checking this misconduct or ethical similarity checking they are doing. So because of these reasons only, normal ways the publications are getting rejected. So the possible decisions are like this. Manuscript is unsuitable. That is, if it is inappropriate, lacks of novelty or insufficient general interest, rejected without peer review. Without going to the reviewers itself, if it is what it will be in the first screening itself, it can be rejected. And after peer review also, it can be rejected. That is another method. Different types of rejections are there. One is in the first stage itself, it can be rejected. That are the reasons. Second one, after peer review, it can be rejected. Third thing is actually maybe the same procedure now you must have seen in this conference also, because I have seen that many papers were there and these organizers must have followed the same thing only. So rejection, resubmission are invited. See, another thing is that the reviewers, they may say that they may send for the modification. In that case, resubmissions are invited. And if the content is good, but the language is not good, formatting is not good, sometimes the reviewers may advise for the modification. In that case, modification, resubmissions are allowed. Then major or minor changes are required in the revision. Okay, so if major changes are there, what are the reviewers are saying? Each comment should be addressed. That's very important. Okay, so in the revision cases, that is each major and minor changes, what are the feedback of the reviewers to be addressed? And again, the acceptance is subject to the editing, content acceptable after minimum editing. The final acceptance is confirmed files, and after the final acceptance, the files will be accepted to the editor, and it will be informed to the publisher, and the forms, so many forms will be the copyright forms, and other forms will be filled by the author, and it will be sent to the publisher, and publisher will publish the paper. So these are the steps actually. The suggestions are like this. Suggest potential reviewers. That is another thing. Some journals actually, they may ask for some to suggest some potential reviewers, because they want to add more experts, subject experts into their databases. So in that case, they are asking the authors to suggest some reviewers. Some usually 3 or 2 reviewers will be asked in that particular area. Doesn't mean that reviewers will review our paper. It is not that. So only the purpose is they are adding this reviewer's name to their databases. Maybe it can be used for some other purpose. So you can easily find potential reviewers and their contact details from articles in your specific subject area. So if I am sending a computer science, for example, learning analytics paper, so I can send some 2 or 3 experts in that learning analytics to that publisher. The reviewers should represent at least 2 regions of the world. Actually, the publisher will give you the instructions how we should choose the reviewers. Some journals will say it should not be from your country, so it should be from out, and like that. For avoiding this conflict of interest. So the reviewer should represent at least 2 regions of the world, and they should not be your supervisor or close friends. So if you are thinking that they will review your paper, it's not like that. It is for extending the database only. So be prepared to suggest 3 to 6 potential reviewers. Some journals are asking, but some journals will not ask like that. The review and the editorial process, how to get your article published. See, for getting your article published, that is, we can say this picture, as this picture says, most scientists regarded the new streamlined peer review process is quite an improvement. Actually, the reviewers are suggesting some comments, so don't take it for negative. So they are asking for the improvement only. Okay. And reviewing is a procedure, and it's a time-consuming process. So consider reviewing as a procedure in which several peers discuss your work, learn from their comments, and join the discussion. So it's a time-consuming, and moreover, this will be reviewed, evaluated by subject expert only. So nearly every manuscript requires revision, and bear in mind that editors and reviewers mean to help you to improve your article, and do not take offense. It is seen that in some of the cases, some reviewers are saying some comments, so others are trying to defend it. It's not a positive way, it's not a good way, correct way. So it is, please take that as a chance for improvement. So minor revision does not guarantee acceptance, after revision. So do not count on acceptance, but address all comments carefully. And in good journals, what I have seen is they are saying that we need to, the author has to mention this is the review comment. Then at the each comment we should mention, at the end of each comment we should mention that this is addressed or how we have addressed like that. Okay. And but when we are saying that also, we have to say in a good way, in a very good way, positive way we have to say. So revise the totally after revising or after addressing all the comments given by the reviewers, that means the whole manuscript also can be revised, not just the parts the reviewers point out, but if you want to revise with the good mechanisms, good methodology, good content like that, you can do that. So carefully study the comments and prepare a detailed letter of response. This detailed letter of response is very, very important. Nowadays, all good journals are very insisting about this letter of response. So in the letter of response, if 3 reviewers are there, 3 letter of response you need to prepare. So for the reviewer one, each comment you should address, and in a very good way, positive way, you have to say that how you have addressed that issue. Okay, and please don't think that we can skip one comment. It's not like that. Each comment should be addressed. So a second round or the review of the revised manuscript is common. Even a good journal, I am telling high impact journals, they may send, they will send you for the second review also. So it's a quite common process. Cherish the chance of discussing your work directly with other scientists in your community. So please prepare a detailed letter of response. That's very important. Cut and paste each comment by the reviewer. So how to prepare this letter of response is cut and paste each comment by the reviewer and answer it directly below. Do not miss any points. State specifically what changes you have made to the manuscript. Give page and line number. And a typical problem is the discussion is provided, but it is not clear what changes have been made. But we should clearly mention what are the changes we have made, what was the comment and how we have addressed that issue and what are the changes we have made. It should be clearly, that statement should be provided for that. So provide a scientific response to the comment you accept or convincing, solid and polite rebuttal to the point you think the reviewer is wrong. A scientific response also can be given wherever it is necessary. So write in a way that your responses can be given to the reviewer. And very important points to remember is preparation is important, but do not spend too much time on your preparation. Submit to the right journal is very, very important. See, I have seen especially for the PhD scholars, that is, they have a good paper, but they don't know, they are sending it for impact, not rough read journals, not indexed journals like that. The problem is once you have sent for any journals or a conference proceedings, then later you cannot send it for some other good journals. The thing is why I am saying good journals. Nowadays, all institutions, all resume will be given weight as per the indexed publications, as per the high impact factor journals, because nowadays so many researchers are there, it's a high competition is there. So all are having publications. So it's a very high competition, and the quality or standard of this publication, the standard is increasing in day by day, it is increasing. So nowadays everybody is especially in Middle East and all, now all are looking for the high indexed paper, indexed journals only will be accepted, even for the researchers and academicians, whoever it is. So submit to one journal one time and check the English, pay attention to the structure, and pay attention to the journal, journal requirement, and always be honest. The ethics is very, very important. So next, I would just like to mention something about ethics also. The publishing ethics is very, very, very important nowadays. Okay, publishing ethics is very, very important. That is scientific misconduct, that's falsification of result. Falsification of result means now without getting the actual result, we are manipulating some result. So it is not at all advisable. So plagiarism is another thing. So different forms, severities, the paper must be original to the authors. As I told you, different tools are there. Now it's very easy to find out the similarity check and from which source we are taken. But nowadays the students are using different loopholes also for overcome that. But still so many softwares are there to find out this ethics problems and all. So duplicate submission is also not advisable. a lack of acknowledgement of prior research and researchers. That's very, very important. In the that is one thing wherever we are taking the content. So the source should be mentioned there. Inappropriate identification of all co-authors. That is also what to say. All authors, everything is important. Just like that, don't put names in the paper. So whoever is contributing in that order, we should list out our author's name of the conflict of interest. Also, it should be mentioned. That is, I am a relative of the publisher. I am submitting like that. So that is not advisable. And plagiarism, it's a shortcut to long-term consequences. Plagiarism is considered a serious offense by your institute, by journal editors, and by the scientific community. Plagiarism may result in academic charges, but still, see, I think in all academic institutes, here in Middle East especially, they are very much particular about this plagiarism. That is, each time the course is some plagiarism is there, it will be accumulated. Semester one, if you do some 5% only, but okay, at that time maybe penalty may not be there, but each semester it will be accumulated. And finally, it may lead to the dismissal and suspension. So many cases are happening like that. So it's a very, seriously it will be taken. And for avoiding plagiarism, the main thing is avoid copy paste, enclose text and quotation marks, provide correct citation and reference. That's very, very important. And paraphrasing, we can paraphrase it, but borrow ideas, but not words. Cite only what you have read firsthand. Okay, so here the fabrication is not allowed. Fabrication means without getting the correct actual result, we are manipulating the result. So that is also not allowed here. And so these are the practical advices. So find the trends of the subject area. See, so for example, I am good, or my paper is in learning analytics. I should find out what are the good publications in that particular area. What are the, what is the trend like that? Even the searching topics also. Okay, so we should do proper research and we should make a publication. Evaluate which journal is right for your journal. So that is impact factor is a high thing. That is, we had to, as I told you, in all academic institute or all for PhD publications and your CVs everywhere now, all are saying just like that. There's if we have some 1,000 publication, no, it is not like that. Instead of that, if we have only 20 publication with a high impact factor journals, then it will give high value. So nowadays that much competition is there. So a good publication is the value of good publication is very, very high now. So subject specific impact factor and a good journals, good database, Scopus or elsewhere, or that is Web of Science, like that. So high index, all these are the factors which are evaluating the grade of a journal. And more about, you can also find out who are the editors and guide for others, article for the others. These are the things to be noted, things to be research, to do the research before sending the publication to any publisher. And your paper is
kindly excuse me, Dr. Reshmi, you need to keep up the time limits. I request you to.
Yes. Yeah, I am submitting. That's all. That's
yeah.
Last slide. So your paper is worthless if no one reads, isn't it? So your why we are preparing paper, it should be read by many people. So it should be clearly described and someone else can use it in her studies. So that is our purpose. And it arouses other scientists' interest and allows others to reproduce the work. So this is our final intention of the publication. So for making it useful for the others, for the beneficial to the community. So our publication should be clear, our documentation should be clear, and we should publish in a good publication. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening my talk for last 10 minutes. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Professor Reshmi Krishnan, for your very informative and rather elaborate research publications presentation. Thank you. Thank you so much. I now express my hearty welcome to our distinguished keynote speaker, Mr. Owais Khan. Mr. Owais Khan has over 15 years of experience in IT industry, out of which he has spent more than 9 years of his IT career in IBM. He is a master black belt Prince to design thinking and agile scrum practitioner. As an entrepreneurial initiative, he founded Synaris Solutions Private Limited at Bangalore, Karnataka, and has been providing software support to companies and industrial knowledge support to students as well as colleges in Bangalore. He has conducted numerous technical sessions on digital transformation, business development, social media marketing workshops and demos, data analytics and statistical insights, entrepreneurship development, placement drives, cultural events, seminars, and webinars. He is also a motivation speaker and student counselor, wherein he facilitates youth communities to choose the right career path and entrepreneurial journey by guiding and mentoring them. He is the co-founder and chief product officer of Talons Private Limited, Singapore. I now invite our distinguished speaker, Mr. Owais Khan, to deliver the special address.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I hope I'm audible.
We are not able to hear you, Mr. Owais. You're not audible.
Hi, am I audible now? Can you hear me?
You may increase your volume, voice.
It's very feeble, actually, your voice.
You may increase your volume, then you proceed.
Yeah. Is it audible now? I'm able to.
No, it's still feeble and there is some disturbance, actually.
Okay, I'll just speak it up. Am I audible now?
Yeah, now it's audible.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the introduction, and I welcome everyone for day 3 session. Today, I'll be talking about the entrepreneurial mindset towards the global restructuring. And this is something that I have also experienced in my career when I connect with the startup organizations or entrepreneurs. So if you look at last few years, we have seen a lot of entrepreneurs who are coming up with great ideas. They're coming up with their own startup innovations. They're coming up with their products and services that they can implement. So with all these, it is even more difficult to identify which project or which particular product is actually feasible to be implemented or even viable to be taken in the market. So that is where I personally have been working with startups with all the design thinking methodologies and the frameworks. So where we think from the user perspective first. And if we go back 20 years or 30 years from now, we have seen that in those days, we never used to have such a good internet connectivity, such a good platform where we can find every information online. And that was the era where the internet started building up, when everyone were introduced to the internet. And that is when the software development and IT industry started to progress. Now, if you look at the current era, this is the era where we will see a lot of startups and entrepreneurs coming, because there are a lot of information around, a lot of ideas that each one has, and a lot of innovative sessions that the colleges are providing, innovative platforms that are being provided by institutes, wherein the students are more motivated in order to come up with their own startup innovation. Now, when we look at this, there are certain criteria that we have to look at, certain issues that an entrepreneur face. It's not that we have a structured session or training that is provided in institute for entrepreneur. It may be an additional course or additional subject that they go through. But in terms of experience, that is something that these entrepreneurs lack. So today we'll be looking at few dimensions of entrepreneurial mindset, which is required by each of these entrepreneurs before they even start working on their startup idea. And this is something that will help them to come up with a growth mindset, come up with a mindset where they look at the startup for a longer period, not just implementing something for few years or few months, because we have seen almost 90% of the startups fail because of the lack of knowledge, lack of feasibility, lack of resourcing. It can be financial resource, or it can also be the technical resource or the skills. So most of the startups are failing because the basics are not right. Okay, so let's look at these in detail, the dimensions that we have to look when it comes to the entrepreneurial mindset. So first, we speak about the high self-efficacy beliefs. So here, when we talk about our own belief, when we talk about our own ability, that is something that we have to stick to. Now, in order to work on on a particular product or on a particular service, it's more important that we are disciplined and we believe in our idea, that this particular idea will actually be a game changer, or this actually will give us a lot of scope and resolve a lot of issues that users are facing. So that belief in ourselves, we have to feel, we have to think, we have to motivate ourselves and start working towards it. And we should avoid being influenced by the negative the feedback that we receive. Rather, take that feedback and work towards the opportunities and work towards improving the service or the project that we have. So that is something that we have to look at. We have to believe in ourselves when we actually start with a particular idea that we have. And we need to have an internal locus of control. Now, what is happening is, most of the times we have seen we put it on external locus, right? Like we try to put it on faith, we try to put it on luck. We say that, oh, this I was not lucky enough to get this opportunity, or it was my destiny, or it was my fate that I was not able to do well in my project or in my the entrepreneurial journey. So all these are ways to put the blame on something that we do not control, something which we feel that, okay, this is something that has happened because of a natural locus that we have, which is out of our control. But instead, we have to actually look at how can we believe that something can be achieved if I work towards it. So that is something that we need to have as a mindset. We have to believe that if something has gone wrong, then I, as an entrepreneur, have to actually correct that particular risk that would have occurred, or the issue that would have occurred. Work towards it, find the root cause why it failed, find the solution how we can avoid that in future, and then work towards it, rather than just putting it on our luck or destiny or something like that. And then we need to have a growth mindset. When we talk about growth mindset, we always have to think about the capabilities that we have, and look at how we can learn something and gain that knowledge. We should not think that we should not have a fixed mindset where we believe that we only have certain capabilities and we cannot go beyond these capabilities that we have. Rather, think that any skill is needed. Like for example, if I take my example, so any industry I go as a strategic consultant, I first learn about that industry. I first understand what could be the challenges that the industry might face, what could be the issues that the industry might face, even before I start my research on that particular industry, though I might not be from the background. So it is very important that we have that mindset wherein we believe that we can learn things and we can put in extra effort, and we can put in a lot of research and strategies behind when we take up a particular assignment, or when we take up a particular project that we are working for our entrepreneurship journey. And then we have to look at our intrinsic motivation. So what is intrinsic motivation is, there are certain things that motivates us from within, right? And when we start monetizing that, or when we start rewarding for that, it becomes an extrinsic rewards, wherein it undermine our motivation. So for an example, if I have to take as a child, most of them are intrinsically motivated to draw, right? Even otherwise they are not being rewarded for that or whatever it is. But if you put, or if you introduce a reward for drawing, then the child might lose an interest, because you're forcing that child to think that, oh, if you do this, you will be rewarded. Otherwise, you just let that happen by their own. They would actually love doing that, right? So that is something that we have to look at. We have to have that motivation coming from within, and we have to encourage the entrepreneur to come up with their own ideas, with their own passion that they have, rather than thinking that, oh, if you do this, you'll be a billionaire, or if you do this, you'll have a 100 crore worth startup in next 5 years or 10 years. That is something that we are blocking our mind, and we are not pushing ourselves to think innovatively. And the last one is we have to look at the high level of resilience. We need to look at what are the positive effects that we have, what are the negative effects that we have, and we need to be optimistic and we need to be positive. So when we look at a project that we take, even if we look at the research work that the scholars does, so even before we start, if we have a mindset that this will never work, this is something that will not give us any result, or why do we even solve this problem? So this is something that we have to avoid. And most of the times we have seen people blaming themselves that, oh, this always happens to me. So they feel that I might be unlucky and I might not be able to achieve anything greater because that is my fate or that is my destiny. So they always keep saying that this always happens to me, things go wrong, or this somebody does not accept my paper or my proposal just because they might not like me, something like that. So we have to come out of that. We have to be more positive. We need to look at how can we make ourselves more confident, and what are those things that we can work towards to achieve our goals in our entrepreneurship journey. So these are the mindsets that we have to bring, and there are few characteristics that we have to build as an entrepreneur. I'll quickly take you all through this. So this is something that we have to always keep in mind. The first thing is motivation. So we, as an entrepreneur, we have to be naturally motivated, because there will be times where we will see that we are not achieving the result that we expect. We are not getting to where we are. We might face financial challenges. We might face skill shortage. We might find that there are no good resources coming and joining our organization because it's a startup. So there'll be a lot of things. So we as an entrepreneur have to be self-motivated. We have to put lot of efforts, we have to put a lot of extra hours to actually achieve or pursue our dreams. So that is first characteristics as an entrepreneur that we need to build if we have to build a successful journey. And then we need to have passion. We cannot just do something because someone else asked us to do, right? It cannot be that, oh, my friends gave me this particular topic to work on, and now I will make a startup out of that. So it doesn't work that way. As an entrepreneur, I need to be more passionate towards what is it that I'm going to work on, and how is it going to change the globe? How is it going to change the world when I implement? Like if you look at Ola, Uber, such examples that we have, so these were the ones who thought that they will bring in a difference to the society, to the globe, right? It just did not happen that they will earn a lot of money, but they had a problem in mind and they knew that they would change lives, and that would make people much easier to commute and easier to actually gain their accessibility to logistics. So that is the passion that we need to build. We have to be passionate about the project or the research that we are taking up. We have to have a clear vision. So we need to know what we want to achieve first. It cannot just happen that I find a problem now and okay, let me start working on that. But we have to build a vision which clearly states that what are we trying to achieve at the end of this particular research or at the end of this particular planning phase that we have before we have a startup, and how can we accomplish that? What are our objectives? What are our goals that we can achieve that will take us to our broader vision? So our vision can be like 5 years down the lane, 10 years down the lane. It could be anything, right? Bringing bringing a transformation in educational institute. So that could be a vision, but how do you achieve it? We cannot just say that we'll bring a transformation unless we have the objectives and goals towards it. What is it that we are going to achieve? And then we need to be more confident. We have to be confident on ourselves first, that we are going to achieve the result. And then we also need to be confident on the products or services that we are going to sell in the market. So that is something very important. If we are ourselves not confident on us or on the product, then I'm pretty sure that the team that we have formed or even the customers will not like the idea or the product that we have. And then finally, we have to be a good decision maker. There will be a lot of decisions which at that point of time might feel that they are really a good opportunity that we have received. But if we think 5 years down the lane, if we think 10 years down the lane, these might not be something that will help our organization, right? So we need to have a mindset of making clear decisions. And how do we actually avoid the misconceptions that we have, or avoid the interruptions that we have in our business by not taking some wrong decision. So with all this, how NFED and my organization Talons work towards providing this is we provide training courses for entrepreneurs. We work with the entrepreneurs using the design thinking methodology, and we work with prototypes and wireframes. And then we help in providing a minimum viable product, which is the POC that we can take it to the client, and then digital marketing, as well as we help in the funding for the team. So that's all from my end today. If you have any questions or any thing further to know about it, you can reach out to NFED, and I have also mentioned our organizational email IDs. You can also reach out to us. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. And thank you, ma'am. I'll hand it over back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ois. It was rather a beautiful presentation, a colorful and a crisp presentation about the entrepreneurial dimensions. I enjoyed it. Thank you so much. So I thank all the distinguished valedictory keynote speakers for their presence and for your valuable time in this international conference. So now, may I request a few participants to share their thoughts and memories?
Before that, I wanted to say something to the
yes, sure, sir.
Our speakers, especially Professor Magesh, our Chief Advisor, and also Chairman Director of Magistic Technology Solutions Private Limited, Chennai. Thank you so much, sir, for your great extempore speech.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Really fascinating, and to Professor Sasireka for her extempore speech, and to Dr. Reshmi Krishnan, as well as Mr. Wais Khan for their valuable time which you spent for us.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. If you have anything to add, you can add on. Professor Magesh is Chief Advisor, so you want to say anything to us as a feedback of this conference? Oh, you've given a lot of keynote, but feedback is also important for our
feedback
because. Yes, sir.
Yes. See, this is not the first time I'm seeing this conference. As you know, that I've been seeing this right from the scratch. So the only thing is what others they have to understand, especially the onlookers and participants, that this is the forum where we conduct the conference as it has to be conducted. See, we have seen so many conferences, but we follow the rules, regulation, guidelines, and other things as per the mandate of the conference. So this has to be established else in all the colleges also. I've seen so many colleges, I had been to so many colleges as a external speaker, invited speaker and all, but still there is something you have to learn is the discipline. First thing is discipline. Second thing is truthfulness, knowledge, how the wisdom has to come out of your knowledge by implementing in the right way. So that right way that he has taught, Professor Dr. Ganesan, he is the benchmark. He is the beacon light for many of the scholars, and we have to adapt and we have to think how a conference has to be conducted. So all these are the learning platforms. When we see certain things, that we established in the initial stage. For example, supposing this is the first paper that you are presenting in NFED, then later on you will come to know when you are presenting in the other forums also, and to know the difference. So that is what I want to emphasize, and I just take all opportunity for the learners to take this as a learning platform for their ensuing and impending future. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes,
Ma'am, may I quickly take opportunity to?
Sure, Dr. Anupama. Tell me.
Yes, yes.
I have been eagerly waiting.
I thought you will say this. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
First of all, I give my salutation to all the people, and definitely, sir, Ganeshan sir, I should say. I have also attended in the career of 20 years, 22 years I've been teaching. I attended a lot of conferences and presented papers also. But I should say this has been the most professional way it has been conducted. Time management, the subject management, and the track records, and I all my sincere salutations to and respect for Ramya madam, the way she conducted her patients till 5:30. See, the first day I thought, okay, I will attend only our
Actually, till 8:30.
Actually, 2 days it till 8:30.
8:30.
Yeah.
I will attend only till our session, and I thought I will take off and on and on. Sincerely telling you, but it made me glued to the system and to the way the presenters were presenting and the feedback, ma'am. It has been an excellent experience, and thanks to our Telangana government for giving us an online option so that we could stay home and fully concentrate, learn a lot. And next time, if I am conducting, I also keep convening small programs in our college. I understood how, the discipline and how professionally things have to be conducted also. And it has been a very value adding presence here, and we are very happy to have such reputed and esteemed guests also. Thank you so much, sir, Ganeshan sir, and Ramya ma'am. You deserve all appreciation for the great support you have been giving, and Ganeshan sir, thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Dr. Anupama. And you know, one thing I always say, because Professor Magesh knows me he's like my elder brother, and he knows me for a very long time. A family friend, NFED, what to say, accompanying, and different capacities he was functioning with NFED now also. And he knows this proverb, never be questioned to question others. So when you have to question others, then it's my proverb. Then you have to be very correct. So if I have to question anybody in this conference as a chair, then obviously I will negate them like anything, even with my questions also, because we both have been chairs for a long time, Professor Magesh and myself, and we do chairing in different sessions also beyond our subject. That is also we have done. Even yesterday I was doing a chairing on arts and humanities, and I was talking about Vedanta, and all those things have been discussed yesterday. The question is, if I am questioning somebody, means I should stand corrected. Unless until if I am not correct, I have no authority or a status quo to question others. So keeping this was a practice since my childhood, not today. That all credit goes to my grandfather for giving me in a disciplined atmosphere, and this all greatness, all these credibilities, appreciations are all devoted to him and dedicated to my grandfather, late Sri M. Rajaratnam.
All of us, people like us are blessed to have father and grandfather who have imbibed such discipline in us, sir. Now, with your permission, we will consider ourselves also as a family of NFED henceforth, and we look forward for such wonderful value adding and elevating presentations and conferences, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for their time. And I also thank all the presenters and the esteemed guests who have been here and added value to our careers. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Dr. Anasia want to say something?
Yes, Professor, good evening. It's a wonderful conference, international conference. Really, I ever attended like this. The whole day I have been with the conference, and all the paper presenters, and they had done well. And I really appreciate the way it was conducted, and the paper presentation were done, and everything went in a very appropriate way.
You have forgotten. You have been a speaker in ICCRESMA 2020. Where Professor Magesh was there, we both were there. And Ramya Madam was the person who has been a conference coordinator at the time. So you attended the conference. That was the first and last conference of a live conference, I can say. After this, ICCRESMA 2022 was enacted as a biennial conference, second biennial conference of NFED. And you know that how you were conducted, and you have been there to Chennai at the time. I think you remember all the old times.
everything I really appreciated your way of conducting for the last too many years. And I was one of your excellent awardee, recipient of your greatest award by the NFED the last year. I cannot forget. And it was a very great experience for me. And it was very excellent for the research scholars. This type of forum should be conducted everywhere and almost in all the colleges, and all the budding scholars should learn the fundamental research approaches. So thank you, Professor. It was a very wonderful session.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Anusia. Thank you.
Gave me a great opportunity to be as a keynote speaker. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. So I would like to add one thing, as you said, Professor. ICCRESMA 2020 was our first, and now this is the second. It was conducted during the leap year, actually. So it was on February 28, 29. That was the beginning of the pandemic. So by mid-March, we had our first lockdown. So now we are in the middle of the pandemic, actually. The pandemic is not yet over. Hopefully by 2024, maybe that will be our third ICCRESMA. Hopefully it will be over. So we'll be having a post-pandemic conference at that time. We'll see. We'll hope for the best, and we'll meet again in that forum also.
Yeah, thank you. Any
May
other?
I take a minute? May I take a minute, sir?
Yeah. I think Vijay, your lovable person, Dr. Vijay is there. Dr. Anusia was speaking, and immediately you started. Yes. Go ahead.
Switch on your video, Dr. Vijay.
Vijay is at home, or I don't know whether she's at college or home.
Yes, sir. Back home.
At home. Now only you are looking very young. Okay. Yes, go ahead.
First of all, I would like to thank the authorities for this wonderful organization. And I can say in a nutshell, NFED is known for its organization. No need to make any elaborate decision or any comment over the organization, because they are known for it. I can say that is their ISA mark. So NFED means it is known for its organization and implementation and everything in a very meticulous way. So on behalf of the participants here, I can give the ISA mark for NFED for the conduct of international conferences, especially to Ramya ma'am for the wonderful way of presentation and managing the show, especially on online. I have been attending your conferences both in online as well as offline award programs. I don't find any difference in this online and offline, because everything is in a meticulous way. Though we are sitting at home, you are keeping us in track. We cannot escape from you. Yeah. That's one of the wonderful creativity, and the magnetic voice of Ramya ma'am will keep all the participants in the same track. They cannot escape. Anyway, it's a wonderful organization, sir, and thank you for the opportunity given to us. And though I couldn't attend the entire day session, but I could visualize, and though I attended some of the presentations, everything was very clear, and the speakers you have chosen, words cannot express. Thank you.
Thank you,
madam. Thank you so much.
To the entire team.
Thank you,
Dr.
Vijay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you so much.
So any other feedback or memories from the participants, or we can conclude?
May I
yes,
speak
Mr. Venkatakrishna. Yeah.
Ma'am, I would like to participate next time, ma'am. Is there any accessible Google form, ma'am? When I registered, then at the time I will be reached to the conference, ma'am.
I really don't understand what you're asking.
What you're asking?
Ma'am, what my feel is that I want to participate next conference, ma'am.
You will be informed. You will be
informed.
So
any other future events or programs, you will be receiving email from us, any future programs or events, you will be receiving email from us. You don't have to worry about that. Okay.
The information will be reached through my email ID,
through your email ID, all the information will reach.
That's why I may not. Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyhow, I feel very happy to participate in this program, ma'am. I learn a lot. I feel very enjoy. Every day I participated without fail, ma'am. Thank you very much, all coordinator and panel member of this conference, ma'am. Thank you very much once again, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Venkatakrishnan. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You can head for the vote of thanks.
Yes. So thank you all for your valuable comments. And I hope all the research deliberations have provided you insights. Thank you everyone. So yeah, we have now come to the end of our 3-day international conference on contemporary researchers in engineering, science, management, and arts, ICCRESMA 2022 by Center for Research and Training, National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development, Coimbatore. So on behalf of the Presidium of NFED, I express my sincere thanks to our conference chair, Chief Patron and Honorable Chairman Karmavir Jyoti, Professor Dr. R. Ganesan, for successfully organizing and hosting the second biennial international conference. I wholeheartedly thank the conference convener, Professor Dr. P. Indra, and conference co-conveners, Associate Professor X. Esther Vimala and Associate Professor Dr. V. Sunita for their sincere efforts and contribution to this 3-day international conference. I express my hearty thanks to all the distinguished international keynote speakers, Associate Professor Dr. Arabi Madboli, Mr. Nandakumar, Professor Dr. Patrick Oviasui, Mrs. Devika Rani Vimal, Ms. Saida Ahmed, Professor Dr. Jari Salo, Professor Dr. Nazrul Islam, Dr. S. Anuzia, and Ms. Miril Tolikima for their august presence and enthralling keynote deliverance. I heartily thank the distinguished national keynote speakers, Professor Dr. Ratna Nashin, Professor Dr. Garima Gupta, Professor Dr. M. Chandrasekharan, Professor Dr. Mary Cherian, Professor Dr. B. Sureka, Professor Dr. Gunita Arun Chandok, Professor Dr. Tatwamasi Palta Singh, and Associate Professor Dr. Aarti Chandani for their benign presence and enlivening keynote address. I also express my sincere thanks to the distinguished valedictory speakers, Professor S. Magesh, Professor Dr. V. Sasireka, Associate Professor Dr. Reshmi Krishnan, and Mr. Oves Khan for their esteemed presence and exuberant valedictory address. I extend my profound gratitude to all the session chairs from different states of India for their invaluable time and scholarly services. I also express my sincere thanks to the organizing secretaries and organizing committee members and facilitators of NFED for their continuous support in successfully conducting this 3-day international conference. Also, my heartfelt thanks to all the paper presenters and participants who have actively participated in the second biennial ICCRESMA 2022. So thank you all so much. And now let us all rise for the national anthem.
Jana Jana Mana Adhikar